Want to invest but don't have a Scooby where to start?
With ready-made investments from Bank of Scotland, investing's made easy. Choose a risk level that works for you and track your investments online.
So you can keep your mind on more important matters, like what does Scooby actually mean anyway?
To start investing today, apply now, online or in our app. Bank of Scotland, by your side. Your capital is at risk. Internet banking customers only. Account fees and charges apply. Ready-made investments are provided by Embark Investment Services Limited.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Luker's Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a huge day of Scottish Cup action. First up, it's holders Celtic welcoming Livingston to the east end of Glasgow. Then it's over to the capital as Hibs welcome Rangers fresh from their trip to Lisbon. Aberdeen are the one and only team through so far, but they are looking for a new manager. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
Brendan Rodgers has never lost a Scottish Cup tie. Livingston have never won a game at Celtic Park. Everything points to the holders of the trophy going into tomorrow night's draw for the semi-finals. Or does Davy Martindale have other ideas? And can Nick Montgomery get the kind of statement result against Rangers at Easter Road tonight that finally proves to the Hibs supporters that they really do have the right man for the job? The romance of the Cup, alive and well on Mothering Sunday. The old firm, the old rules apply. Defeat is unthinkable.
Yeah, well, when the Scottish Cup starts in early January, everybody wants to get to Hampden, and this is the first opportunity to get there. Aberdeen in the draw in the semi-final at Hampden. It's over to Celtic and Rangers this afternoon, and both with varying tasks ahead of them. Celtic at home with a bit of a change in their starting lineup that we'll learn about soon, and Rangers coming off the back of a European tie away to Hibs, who have discovered a bit of form. So two interesting games ahead, and then it's over to Hearts tomorrow against Morton. Looking forward to today's action though.
Yeah, big question is Scottish Cup, do we get a shock? Would it be a shock if Livingston go to Celtic Park and win today? I think it certainly would be. And then you've got a terrific game tonight, Hibs v Rangers. Rangers coming off that terrific result against Benfica on Thursday night. I think we'll get plenty of action, plenty of goals and plenty of entertainment.
What more could you want from your Mother's Day than to have 6 hours of Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel? Do not say we're not good to you. I know this is the way that you dreamt of spending this afternoon into the evening. It might even be late evening by the time we finish. Let's just hope, for everyone's sake, either Hibs or Rangers do the business in extra time, or you'll be home sometime on Monday morning, Hugh.
Well, this programme will last longer than at least 2 of Gordon Dalziel's marriages. But absolutely looking forward to it. The team news from Celtic Park alone will get us started when it comes to discussing the controversies of the day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mammies out there. And if this is a tough day for you for whatever reason, well, we've got your back as well. We're here until 8 o'clock. We think we'll take that as it comes. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, if it does go the distance at Easter Road. But before we get to the capital, it's all about the east end of Glasgow. Celtic, serial winners of this competition. High hopes, high expectations, and a very interesting few weeks leading into this one. Gabriel has the teams.
Yes, as you say, Gordon, certainly a very interesting few weeks and a very interesting last 7 days for Celtic and Brendan Rodgers. Of course, last weekend's controversial defeat was Celtic's first in 12 games. Rodgers himself felt the game was decided by officials. He's facing charges and a potential ban for questioning the referee's competence. But that's not his focus now. He wants his team to bounce back today. This is their ideal fixture, a home tie against a side that they're expected to beat. Some respite from the pressure of the title race as well. However, this game comes with its own pressure, especially as holders. And after that defeat at Tynecastle, Rodgers said that there are 13 games to go in the run-in. He pointedly included 3 Scottish Cup matches, saying he sees his team playing in May's final. That, of course, starts by winning here today. A couple of exits through the week as well to tell you about. Leo Labada and Alexandra Bernabei departing the club for the Americas. Captain Callum McGregor remains sidelined with an Achilles problem. So let's have a look at the team sheet then. It's 2 changes from their game 7 days ago. Stephen Welsh and Nicholas Kuhn come in. Yang misses out through suspension. Cameron Carter-Vickers drops out as well. We hear it's precautionary measures after feeling something in training yesterday. The team will be as follows: Joe Hart in goal, Anthony Johnson, Stephen Welsh, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor in defence. It's Tomoki Iwata, Matt O'Reilly and Paolo Bernardo in midfield. Nicholas Kuhn and Daizen Maeda are out wide. Adam Eder leads the line again. Substitutes: Bain, Lagbielka, Kyogo O, Holm, Vata, Kelly, Forrest and Ralston. The visitors here wearing yellow today. Livingston seriously struggling in the league. They're looking down the barrel at the Championship. Perhaps reaching Hampden in the semi-finals could spark them into life ahead of their own run-in. They've only won 3 of their last 23 games. 2 of them were in this competition. The manager David Martindale is reading very little into Celtic's failure to retake the lead at the top of the table, citing that early red card. He expects a strong reaction today, but he says you must beat one of the old firm if you are to win this famous old trophy. And how he'd love another crack at Hampden and go one better than losing that League Cup final to St Johnstone in 2021. 5 changes for him from last weekend's 1-1 draw up in Perth. George, Devlin, Carson, Shinnie and Holt all drop out. Brandon McGovern, Bradley, Kelly and Nubley are in. We think it's going to be a 4-5-1 formation. Michael McGovern in goal. A defence of Jamie Brandon, Michael Nottingham, Aya Obile, Sean Kelly and Christian Montano. Stephen Bradley and Sean Kelly will be in the middle of the park, with Damakai and Joel Nubley flanking Tete Yengi, who starts up top. Substitutes: George, Donnellan, Anderson, Singare, Shinnie, Guthrie and Colbert. The referee here will be Willie Collum, and Nick Walsh is on the VAR.
Well, there you are. That's the team news you've all been waiting for, I'm sure, ahead of Celtic against Livingston. Mark Wilson, what jumps out from that Celtic team for you this afternoon?
Spoke about yesterday the wide areas, and Kuhn recalled to the side, not seen since Fir Park a couple of weeks ago, where he was probably deemed not good enough within about the 60 minutes or so that he played. But he's back in the side, so a big afternoon. We chatted about it, that, you know, he's one of those players that hasn't contributed positively since he's been put in, and the manager may have put a bit of pressure on his shoulders. You know, sometimes when transfers come in, the manager eases the pressure by saying it's going to take this guy a bit of time to settle. Brendan Rodgers opted for, this guy is an upgrade in what we've got, and when he's been put into the team, whether that be off the bench or starting, he's not quite hit the heights that the Celtic fans expect. So a big afternoon for him. 2 centre-halves as well. Carter Vickers out again, and you just wonder, it's a stop-start season for Carter Vickers, carrying injury problems. You wonder if they're going to clear up anytime soon, but Celtic could certainly be doing with him, because Livingston are going to be a physical threat this afternoon.
In terms of surprise, Hugh, as much as it's a blow, everybody knew Callum McGregor was out. As much as it's a blow, everybody knew Yang was suspended. We knew that Palma was a doubt. What we didn't know was that Carter Vickers hasn't been risked today. Celtic fans, goes without saying, will be hoping this is just a minor blip, because it's been quite a familiar sight this season.
We didn't know he'd missed today, but what we do know is that a Celtic side minus Cameron Carter-Vickers isn't as strong. He has the physicality, and he also moves the ball better than the two who are there, Welsh and Scales. I'm immediately struck, Gordon, by the number of mainstays, players that we accepted as Celtic mainstays, who are not there. We know Hatate is a long-term injury. Kyogo, shadow of his former self, doesn't get a start anymore. McGregor, the captain, the inspiration, the heartbeat, call him what you will. Carter Vickers out, and Abada now in America, of course. So I'm struck by the makeshift nature of this Celtic team. A makeshift central defensive pairing, a makeshift midfield, and up front, Kuhn yet to have a good game for Celtic. Ida suffering that missed penalty at Tynecastle, which set a dubious tone last Sunday, and Maeda, who of late has not looked like his old self. So it's a makeshift Celtic for me. and Livy will be happy to see that team.
Yeah, I don't want to always reduce it to this, Gordon, and go to the obvious place, but for Livy, I would imagine they're looking at that physical prowess of Tete Yenge, and Joel Noubley plays, and that's something that they will clearly try and lean on if they're to get anything today.
Yeah, I think Livy turning up at Celtic Park today would look at that team sheet, and I'm not being disrespectful, it's not the strongest starting 11, but it's still got plenty of quality. Let's not be kidded there. But you're right, the one thing about Livy, today's set plays, they're going to be so dangerous. They're big, they're physical. I will not be surprised if Davy just goes route one, everything into the box, ask the questions of the two centre halves. You look at Johnston Taylor, not the biggest either there, but a big game for Joe Hart. He'll need to come and help his defence out at times. I think this will be an interesting afternoon, but still looking at that Celtic team at Celtic Park, there's enough quality for them to get into the next round.
Team lines are in then. You've heard the breaking team news from Celtic Park, and we will hear from Brendan Rodgers and Davy Martindale next. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
Meet Simon.
Hi there.
Dad of 3.
I can easily manage the kids' hectic schedules, but seeing a doctor at a time that suits, nightmare.
Thankfully, Aviva can help, as Simon and his family already have Aviva health insurance. They have 24/7 digital access to a GP.
Amazing. Back to karate, ballet, juggling.
Search Aviva Health, helping solve your health insurance puzzles. It takes Aviva. This service is a non-contractual benefit. Aviva can withdraw or amend at any time. T's and C's apply.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Building up to kick-off not far away actually in the east end of Glasgow. Celtic against Livy. The team lines are in. It is a weakened Celtic team due to some expected injury in the form of Callum McGregor and Lewis Palma, some unexpected injury in the form of Cameron Carter-Vickers, and the suspension of Yang. So an interesting team Brendan Rodgers has chosen. How's he feeling ahead of this?
For us it's an opportunity to make a big step into the semi-final. I think David's done a brilliant job over a number of years there. I certainly know my first time up here that they were always a team that was very committed, very tough to beat, and that's in his psyche, and I know that will always be in his team's psyche. So we prepare for a tough game. I always feel that we have to look at ourselves first, and for us it's really just the consistency in our work and our approach.
In this Glasgow cauldron, Hugh, that's been getting hotter and hotter over the last couple of weeks, he just needs a very straightforward afternoon, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, particularly after Tynecastle and everything that's followed on from there. Celtic went out of the Viaplay Cup under unexpected circumstances, with the greatest respect to Derek McInnes and Kilmarnock. They cannot follow that up by going out of the Scottish Cup. The league is very much in the balance. The treble of last season cannot turn into a trophyless season without repercussions. The Celtic supporters have been unhappy with a lot of what has gone on this season, on and off the park, and they will not stand for anything other than being in the draw tomorrow night.
Oh, without doubt, this game is crucial, and particularly the way the season has went for Brendan Rodgers. Hugh's right to highlight going out the League Cup, still in a title race, no doubt about that, but coming off the back of Tynecastle and what followed on from his post-match interview, I guess at Fir Park, he'll just want to stand after the game and talk, much like he did after the Dundee game, how terrific his team were, how they moved the ball quickly, how they were on the front foot and aggressive, and got the result they need to take them at Hampden. But sometimes these games aren't easy, everybody thinks Livy in the league, very poor, offer next to nothing in that competition. But it's a different competition. Maybe be a different approach from Livingston. They will be physical. So Brendan Rodgers' team will have to overcome that battling aspect that Livy are going to bring to Celtic Park this afternoon to get the result they desire. So it's going to be tough, but he could do with an easy one.
I honestly can't make a case for Livy. I really can't. You look at their league form's been poor, bottom of the league. They're 51 points between these two sides. You're talking about going to Celtic Park, quarter final. I know that they've not got their strongest 11 out, but if you play with Celtic, you wait for an opportunity, waiting for someone maybe to get suspended or injured to go and show what you can do at Celtic Park in the quarter final of the Scottish Cup. I know it's not the strongest, but I certainly would see Celtic being in the next round.
Let's hear from Davy Martindale.
Expectation and hope, I think. But you also need a wee bit of belief. You don't go there with fear. A break for league business, obviously. So, we don't go there with fear. Definitely no fear. We're one game away from Hampden. Celtic are the same, but our focus on us. You're one game away from Hampden. And I'm a great believer. If you want to get to Hampden, you've got to beat either the Old Firm at some point. Generally, if you really, in general terms, you want to get to cup finals, you want to get to Hampden Park in semi-finals, you've got to generally beat the Old Firm along the way.
It's a bit different at the top because you're just expected to win everything. You can't prioritise. That stuff's nonsense. At the bottom, though, I think clearly Livy's priority is to stay in the division.
Yeah.
What does that do for today? That subconsciously, is there a free hit element about it all where you're not really, as focused on the priority of progression? I don't know. How does it work?
Yeah, the free hit philosophy is the correct one for me. I'd never met Davy Martindale until this time last week when we both did a question and answer session. And
that's right. Where was it again? Where was it hosted?
It was in a club in Kirkintilloch.
Which one?
They tell me it's a Rangers club.
You were allowed in a Rangers supporters club.
Not only that, wee Doddy was there.
You and Davy Martindale together in a Rangers supporters club. What an afternoon.
I think I
Scottish football conspiracies.
Hold on, it's not so much that you were let in, it's that you were let out that I'm amazed about.
Listen, they were there in aid of Kirkintilloch Rob Roy, the junior team, who were trying to get their own ground for the first time in 11 years. So that was the venue, but it wasn't for Rangers fans, it was for fans of all clubs, and they turned up and they supported their local junior team. And Davy Martindale, I got there before Davy, and I said to the audience that I believed that Livy would go down. And they said
before
to me,
Davy arrived,
they said to me, "You won't say that to his face." I said, "Yes, I will." And it was the first thing I said to him, that I told the audience that I would say to you what I have said to them: you'll go down, in my estimation. And
you're always good at making pals, as
a start.
But that's when I found out what a straight up guy he is. He's just what you see is what you get with Davy Martindale. I thoroughly enjoyed his company. He explained his case of how they were going to try everything in their power to stay up, and he also said that if they go down, he'll stay there to try and bring them back up again. So a truthful man, and he knows his life story is about redemption and rehabilitation, and he'll go there. Gordon's right, 51 points between them in the league table, but he'll go there today and he'll take his chances. He'll look at Welsh and Scales, and he'll think that Joel Newbley might be able to upset them. I remember Stephen Welsh being involved in one of Ange Postecoglou's very early games. They lost at Livingston, and they were messed about that day by bigger, stronger, more physical Livy players. So Davy Martindale will go there. Being bottom of the league is an irrelevance for one afternoon only. He goes to Celtic Park with the job of trying to cause a real Scottish Cup upset, and he will not go there, as he said there, with any defeatist attitude at all.
You've got to say that in this cup competition, they've had this sense of underdogs pitted against them so far, and that's against lower league opposition. When they had Wraith Rovers at home, everyone fancied Wraith Rovers. They went one behind and they managed to galvanise themselves and get through that tie. They were 2 down at Partick Thistle. Everybody fancied Thistle, but somehow his team managed to pull themselves together and win an incredible 3-2. This is against different opposition. So again, the underdogs. and for me, I just can't see that continuing today. They may give Celtic a troublesome opening period. Of course, Celtic had to wait to 46 minutes in the league last December before Kyogo broke the deadlock. Livy were resolute, but I think Celtic still, even though they've got players missing, I still see O'Reilly and Iwata and Bernardo being technically too good not to create chances.
Well, kick-off at Celtic Park, Celtic and Livingston in the second of the Scottish Cup quarter-finals is coming next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Kick-off moments away. Let's get a quick recap of the teams with Gabriel.
Thanks, Gordon. The two teams just being led out at the moment by the two captains. Give you a quick run through of the starting 11s again. Joe Hart actually skipper today. That's because captain Callum McGregor is still out with an Achilles problem, and Cameron Carter-Vickers drops out as a precaution. He's one of two changes. Yang misses out through suspension. So the Celtic team: Joe Hart in goal. A defence of Alistair Johnson, Stephen Welsh, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. Tomoki Iwata, Matt O'Reilly and Paolo Bernardo continue in midfield. Nicholas Kuhn comes in to just make his third start since his January arrival. He's on the wing with Dazen Maida, whilst Adam Eder leads the line. The visitors, Livingston, make 5 changes to last weekend's 1-1 draw with St Johnstone. 5-4-1 formation for them. Michael McGovern in goal. Back 5 with Jamie Brandon, Michael Nottingham, Ayo Obilai, Sean Kelly and Christian Montano. Stephen Bradley and Stephen Kelly will be in the middle of the park with Dan Mackay and Joel Nouble out wide. Tete Yengi leads the line. A few quick stats for you, Gordon, before we kick off. Of course, Celtics are the holder of this competition. Manager Brendan Rodgers has won all 14 matches he's taken in charge in the Scottish Cup with the Hoops. Livingston last reached the semi-finals all the way back in 2004, 20 years ago. They lost 3-1 at home to Celtic. And as Hugh mentioned at the start of the show, Livy have never won here across 19 visits to Celtic Park. Celtic winning all of the last 6 meetings between these two sides. So everything points towards a home win today. But this is Cup football, Gordon. We know anything can happen, and it will be decided today, whether it takes 90 minutes, 120 minutes or penalties. A huge afternoon for Celtic then in their bid for silverware this campaign. Joe Hart leads the huddle in the left-hand side of the pitch. Referee Willie Collum just standing over the ball, and we are about to get underway in the Scottish Cup quarter-final.
Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Interested in a career in pharmacy? Apply today to join their team.
Come on then, you three, give us your prediction for this one. Give me the scoreline. How's it going to go?
3-1 Celtic.
I'll go 2-0 Celtic.
I'll go one bit better. I'll go 3-0.
No chance for the Livy Lions, according to these three. Hugh Keevins spent last Sunday with Davy Martindale as well, and he's turned his back on him already.
You see, you tell people the truth, unlike the man to my far left who yesterday revealed himself to be a serial cheat.
No, he revealed himself to be a serial cheat 30 years ago, but I do take your point. He went public with his full-time teaser, his second half teaser cheating exploits, and I'm not impressed.
No.
Cheaters
you
never
didn't
win,
actually say,
winners never
Hugh,
cheat.
what Davy Martindale responded.
Oh, it's a nice start from
beautiful.
Celtic, from Kuhn, much maligned. The ball came to him, he let it run through his legs, spun in behind and tried to play the ball across, but it couldn't escape Michael McGovern, the experienced Livy keeper.
I thought he'd be a bit disappointed with this. Does brilliant. I think he's got to play that better ball.
Yeah.
He's got options there. Great bit of play. That'll do him the world of good. I think that's a big afternoon for him. He really needs a performance in front of the Celtic fans.
In answer to your question, I simply said to Davy Martindale that it was a season too far for Livingston. There were too many things going against them, and even luck deserted them when they most needed it. So I did not believe it was possible. And of course, he takes it without histrionics. He just gives you his answer that he still believes that there's enough games left. And
that's what you think.
What?
He's not going to show his hand, is he? He's just silently plotting how to get his own back.
No. He's a regular guy. He understood when a boy from Partick tells you you're done for, you're done for.
There's an English Premier League game on that's got some links to today, to Scottish football. Certainly, it's John McGinn versus Ange Ball, but John McGinn is in the bath because he's been shown a straight red card for wiping out one of the Spurs players right in front of Ange Postecoglou. Quite an interesting decision because it certainly had the excessive force bit about it. It didn't really look like he was trying to play the ball very much, but he didn't even really slide. There wasn't that sort of usual, sliding through, studs up element. So I think this one will really divide opinion.
He didn't need to slide. He set out with a deliberate intention of halving the player in two, and he did.
I always tell you though that intention in a tackle doesn't matter either way. It's more about the endangering element of it.
Well, we're all over the place with what should be a red card.
That's a bit more straightforward.
Well, for me, that's a straight red all day.
You've gone soft.
Sorry, I can't comment. I'm more interested in Scottish football.
Kuhn started well, by the way.
He has in half.
Yeah, you're right. It's a big afternoon for him, and he started brightly in the opening minute and a nice little dummy. Yeah, let himself down with the final delivery. Same there, taking on Montano, got past him, but again his final delivery cut out. But they're going to need him to come onto a game because this is going to be a big period for Celtic. Not only this game, but the games coming up, the remaining 8 or 9 weeks. You need everybody pulling in the right direction, especially your new signings.
You need to get Gabriel to say to Davy Martindale at time up, Hugh Keevins, I understand, told you you're going down for sure. And see what he says then.
What, that specky wee tube? Something along those lines, I would imagine. Maybe not even quite as polite, but there we are. We're in the early stages of this one at Celtic Park. A lively enough start by Celtic, but nothing really to tell you about yet. Goalless as we edge towards 4 minutes, and we're in for the long haul today. Easter Road, hot on the heels of this one. Hibs against Rangers. How will Rangers respond to European exploits on Thursday? We of course will turn our attentions there later, or maybe even open the phone lines early for you. It's a nice Mother's Day treat once the Celtic game finishes. I suppose we could do that. I'll give you the nod. Early foul by a Celtic player. Who was it?
Johnson. I think he's lucky to get away with that yellow card for that. He overrun it and he absolutely clatters into the Livy player Stephen Bradley there.
You giving a yellow for that, Mark?
I would give a yellow for that. I've got to be honest.
I can hear your case, but I think it's, and it shouldn't be, I think it's because there's only 4 minutes in the clock that Willie's decided to keep his cards in his pocket.
You think do they think like that? I wonder if they do.
100%.
They do,
yeah.
100%.
4 minutes.
Livingston rattled the post.
I
think the flag was up anyway, but a real sigh of relief. And you could see the tactic from Livy as clear as day. Tete Yengi is about 9'4". He peels round the back onto Greg Taylor, and that's only going to end one way. Headed back across, and then the ball falls to Openline, bounces his volley off the turf and off the post, but the flag was up.
It's up for a free kick. I don't think it's
actually wasn't Greg Taylor, was it? It was
Matt
Riley. It's just he's so tall, he made him look like Greg Taylor.
He did look small. Matt Riley's a big lad as well. But you're right, that is a tactic. Livy have to use their physicality to get a Celtic. So that's why Alistair Johnson overrunning the ball and giving away a needless free kick so early into the game, just gives the opposition encouragement to put that in your box.
Was Willie Collum incompetent there
for not giving a yellow?
Yeah.
No, I take on board what Mark says, but I don't think it's one of those bad enough that you go, it's a definitely yellow. I like that. I like the referee to settle into the game as much as the players. There was nothing sinister in it. Let's move on. But Mark's right, gave Livingston a great opportunity to put a bit of pressure on Celtic.
And Michael McGovern goes for Livy this afternoon. A long time ago, he was an ex-teammate of mine's at the club. He's been Celtic. But he's been round the houses since then.
Celtic.
Yeah, he's been round the houses since then, down south, and he's found himself at Hearts and at Livy playing second fiddle, but he's in today, so I wonder if he'll have a busy afternoon. Good goalkeeper, Mikey.
How old is he now, Mark?
Oh, he must be a year younger than me, 38, something like that, 37, something like that.
Younger than you, is he?
I think so. I know he does look older. It's my skincare regime.
What a ball that is.
Yes, and we've got the opening goal at Celtic Park. Appeals for offside, but I think they are waved away.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Daizen Maeda puts Celtic in front with just 6.5 minutes on the clock. It was a wonderful pass. He has an inconsistent level of finishing ability at times, but he's kept this one down, slotted it beyond the aforementioned Michael McGovern and into the back of the net. And I think it was Nicholas Kuhn with a wonderful pass. And that is not to the start Davy Martindale wanted, but a great start for Celtic.
Yeah, terrific. And Kuhn, to pick him out in that fashion is just terrific. And Livy went to sleep, and it's the new hirsute version of Dalziel Maeda. The hair's grown in and it's helped his finishing.
He's letting it grow a wee bit.
Yeah.
There's a bit of growth on there.
Bit of Andy Halliday look about him there.
But he's kept his composure well.
I've got to say that goal's all about Kuhn. I agree with what Hugh said there. To pick him out, the weight of the pass, everything about it. If you're Livingston, and Mark can talk about the fullback, because I'll be having a real word with him. But Maeda, good touch, control finish, great start for Celtic.
Well, we've not restarted yet, and I know there was an offside check, but just seeing, I guess, what else has to be taken into account.
This is not what Brendan Rodgers needs after the week he's had.
Goal.
Yeah.
Goal stands. There we are. Celtic 1, Livingston 0. It's a really interesting assist that from Nicholas Kuhn, Mark, because he always comes in the pitch, and people in the last couple of weeks have been criticising him for it. But if the quality when he does come in the pitch is like that, then it's no problem.
Yeah.
Of course, you'd maybe like a bit more variation, but the problem being in the last few weeks, you come in the pitch, not much happens. This time comes in and picks a wonderful pass.
Well, I think he gives himself a better angle than what he's been doing in previous weeks. Previous weeks he's been trying to face up the defender. He comes on his left foot but doesn't give himself enough space from the defender. He's trying to cross it, easily cut out. This time Montano thinks he's done his job, he's showed him back, but Kuhn's got an awful lot of space then to look up. It's a great run from Maeda. Obviously they spoke about that and the possibility of that ball being played, but the quality's in the ball, the pace on it, just over the Livy back line. Good touch and finish from Maeda. So really positive start from Kuhn. We hyped it up yesterday saying who would play in that area. He really needs to produce even before the show, and within 9 minutes he's went past Montano twice and assisted Maeda's goal. So good start from the Celtic wide man, and good start for Brendan Rodgers.
I guess, Gordon, everything's about just getting a run. We often pick that one moment and say, this could be the kickstart, which it could be, but then he scored against Aberdeen at Pittodrie very early in his Celtic career. That didn't turn out to be a kickstart. He's got an opportunity today, let's be honest, because Yang and Palma are unavailable. So is that about obviously taking them and showing what you can do when you get that break?
Yeah, there was a debate in here yesterday, even thought of, because Brendan Rodgers, I think, sort of sparked it a little bit with James Forrest getting mentioned.
We even spoke about Kyogo potentially.
Yeah, I thought if he left Kuhn out today, you'd be better just send them back home. But he's had a terrific start, and I've got to say, honestly, that is a fantastic ball to play. It's a difficult ball. It's a fantastic ball.
The irony is, the first two chances he had to create, he did the hard job to get himself into position, then the final ball was poor. But third time lucky, because the final ball to Maeda is superb.
I think it's a confidence thing. He comes to Celtic Park, he comes with the big price tag as usual, he comes with as Celtic go close again. Is it Maeda again? Yeah, yep. He's certainly tried to get it that far.
He needs to shave that head because it just made him so instantly recognisable. Now he's out on that side.
That's why they can't pick him up.
The same colour hair as a few others out there. That's doing nothing for
us.
The
defenders are shouting, pick up Maeda, and they're like, what one's he? Right. He's got here.
It's a terrible ball from Paulo Bernardo, but he gets lucky because it hits a Livy defender and goes up into the air for Maeda, but he was never good to score.
Yeah, 6th goal of the season for Dalziel Maeda.
That is very tight indeed.
Brandon's heel just in the near side, I think, playing Maeda on it, the opposite side of the pitch, so tight. Yeah, fine margins. Went the way of Brendan Rodgers this time.
One of those really frustrating ones that's got people questioning whether they do tweak offsides in the future, because actually Maeda's feet are miles onside, if that makes sense. And it's his shoulder that sort of almost
it looks like it's off. Yeah,
plays him off. I know, is it Arsene Wenger? He's the big advocate of having to have no part of the body overlapping, isn't he?
Yeah.
Interesting to see if that ever came to anything. There was a ball in behind there. Adam Ida almost got on the end of it. He was always second favourite in truth, and the goalkeeper does come to collect, but still Celtic 1 up early on.
I think Brendan Rodgers will be quite happy the way Celtic started. Yes, they had that little bit of a scare when the ball went into the box and Livy caused a few problems. As they come here, they've got a great opportunity.
Yeah, Livy are in here, and it's an equaliser.
Oh, take
Goal
nothing
flashes.
away.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's a stunning equaliser for Livy. It's a ball down the left. Celtic nowhere to be seen defensively. It just sits up nicely and volleyed high into the net. Joe Hart stuck out a hand, couldn't get there. Celtic will claim offside. Very difficult to tell early on, but you have to say the composure just to sweep it high beyond Joe Hart. It is an excellent finish, and if that stands, we've got a very interesting game on our hands.
I think he's off though.
Do you?
Do you? Yeah, it looks tight, Hugh. I was saying Brendan Rodgers will be really disappointed the way they're defending.
Yeah. You look at the gaps between Alistair Johnson there and is it Liam Scales or Welsh? I think it's Scales maybe. To allow Daniel Mackay to run into. Now, it's very, very close, but let's analyse the goal anyway. It's a magnificent finish.
I thought,
well timed run, you would have to say, good ball through.
This is your regular reminder that it doesn't matter what it looks like to me, or looks like to you, or looks like to Hugh Keevins. Obviously the lines will determine. Alistair Johnson's the closest to possibly playing him onside.
If it does stand, Gordon, I think Celtic would be highly disappointed, but let's go to the positive. That is
yes, goal stands. Celtic 1, Livingston 1. What a cup tie we've got in our hands.
Well,
what a finish.
And all credit to Livy, because they're supposed to crumble when Celtic take an early lead, and instead I thought the Livy defence for the first 13 minutes looked particularly sleepy, and the Celtic defence were sleepy to the point of unconsciousness when Livy get their equaliser there. So game on.
Well, I was just saying that Brendan Rodgers would have been happy with the first 12 minutes, 1-0 up, dominating the game. I'll tell you what, he'll certainly not be happy with the way that Livy just cut through their defence there. That's too easy.
Shades of the Motherwell game at Fir Park, early on, constantly getting in behind. You remember Theo Baer's disallowed goal. There was then a couple of others, and then Motherwell did eventually score as a good chance. Celtic though, Michael McGovern denies Adam Ida at the near post.
Been a fantastic start to the game, by the way. Yeah, I think you would, Gordon, you're right. Brendan Rodgers will be disappointed at the gaps and that just one ball over the top causing so many problems. But I think it was Welsh. The gap's too much. He sees Mackay in the inside him. Alistair Johnson has to go out and engage with the white guy if the ball's going there. He does, he makes his move. The other centre half has got to be across. He's got to be channel side of Mackay. He lets him run through, and to be fair to the Livy wide man, he puts that away fantastically.
Great finish, isn't it? It really is a good finish.
That's where I think you've got to give credit. We can analyse the Celtic situation here, but if you're David Martindale sitting at the bench, at the side of the bench,
he won't be standing on the bench.
At the side of it.
He's actually a good bit onside in the end. Dan Mackay, no qualms.
It's a great run. It's a good run. It's a great run, but he's still got a bit to do. But what a finish that is. That boy will not score a better goal like that all season now.
Helps when you've got all the time in the world to think about how you're going to produce the finish.
You've got to look at that as a centre half though, and see what's in front of you and see what's coming. I think Welsh is trying to step up there and thinking he's being clever and try to play him offside and thinking that'll be fine, and he's let him go. But Mackay, brilliant, because when you've got a lot of time and you're bearing down on Joe Hart and you maybe think, well, I cut this across.
He's at a tight angle, isn't he? But because the ball's bouncing and he's got so much time, he's able just to open his body right up and fire it with his right foot into the roof of the net.
And the only good thing that came out of that, Hugh's the only one still in the predictions. We are gone already. 14 minutes in Scottish Cup Day Sunday. DL and Wilson out.
I'll go to my pal Davey and tell him I was at least the one who said you'd score a goal at Celtic Park. The other two ditched you.
Yeah, Hugh realises that this Celtic defence is not brilliant at keeping clean sheets.
I tell you what, all over the place there. Scales, bad ball back to Joe Hart, an even worse ball to try and put it back to Scales in his own corner, and Tete Yenge just does enough to nudge Scales off the ball, and he's ended up with a corner out of absolutely nothing. So it's good pressing from the Livy front man, being positive, just throw Scales out the way, wins a corner.
Does Joe Hart have to give it back to him?
No, not at all. Just take a touch.
But see, to be fair, yeah, I totally agree with you. But see, when Scales gets it, he's got to do better, Mark.
Yeah.
He's a centre back for Celtic. He's got to be stronger. You just get brushed aside, and this is where Livy will really, if they can get quality in the box today, they'll test Celtic.
Yeah, it's a big high in swinger from Livy. Celtic do get bodies in and around it, but it's a few poor clearances in succession. But Celtic might just be able to break here if they can get the touch. And somebody's, I thought, wiped out, but maybe more of a collision we'll see in the middle of the park. Celtic were inches away there from having everybody through on goal. Really, it looked like it could be a very slick counter-attack, but just one or two things missing from it, that quality, and in the end it's pulled back. I think it was a foul on Montano.
Yeah, I think so. Montano just does enough just to get it back, and maybe Bernardo just clips him there.
Andrew's gone mad in Birmingham.
What's the score now?
3-0. Of course, Villa down to 10 men. John McGinn sent off quite a while ago now.
I like Livingston's policy, their signing policy. If you're not 6'4", you're not getting signed.
I'm actually not sure, but I think it's only in certain areas though.
They're
you
a
think
big side.
sometimes the midfield, Jason Holt and Stephen Kelly, it's not.
Mackay's not a giant either.
It's not across the board.
Oh, he's 6 foot if he's a day.
Who've they got? They've got Yenge, they've got Nubly, they've got Nottingham and Oberlai. Yeah, 4 big units. And Kelly's.
Oh, they've got a decent size there. Okay, I exaggerated a little bit, but it's Mother's Day and it's a Sunday. I think we can let these ones go.
What's Mother's Day and that's Sunday? Got to do it.
Whatever form of logic was that?
Yeah, they're allowed to lie on Mother's Day and Sundays.
Exaggerate, it's not lie, exaggerate.
Daisen Maeda's 100th game for Celtic today, incidentally, and he was the one that put them in front. But that Dan Mackay equaliser has certainly shaken things up.
Well, it's a tribute to Livy. They just did away with the inclination to fall apart because Celtic had taken the lead, so they've scored a goal and they've hit the post so far. So good game.
Yeah, Livy look like they've got a bit of belief back, and I suppose that's important. Quite often you get the sense with Celtic, Mark, that it's really just about how they start. If they start well and they score, you're kind of on for a straightforward afternoon, but showing that it's far from the case here.
Well, without doubt. I mean, I've been there before myself as a player, where you go one down in the opening 10 minutes and you think, oh, here we go. You're actually thinking this could be 4 or 5, and it often was in my day when you had Larsson and Sutton and Hartson, they would just bang them in. But slightly different now. Livy and Davy Martindale would have sensed that the Celtic fans are disgruntled at, and it's not the easiest place to play for Celtic players at the minute. So any sign of encouragement, it's important that they took it, and they certainly have taken their chance.
Bit disappointed in a couple of occasions there, Mark, especially for Alistair Johnston getting into wide areas, good wide areas, and the ball into the box is really, really poor. He's got to do better.
Well, it's a sign now at 1-1. This makeshift Celtic side, you can't have players going into the shell now, the Celtic players, so they have to stand up to the demands of the fans as Livy go up the park.
They're fancying it now, Livy, aren't they? They're growing and growing into the game. They'll be delighted with that, because when you go 1-0 down at Celtic Park, you're thinking could be a long afternoon, but they get back in very quickly and they're growing in confidence.
I never think that Scales and Welsh look comfortable together.
I've got to agree, Hugh. I don't think it's
a corner Livingston
partnership made in heaven, if I'm honest with you. But as I say, I keep saying the quality needs to be good. If the quality is good from set plays for Livy, they will ask questions of this Celtic defence.
4-0 Spurs now. Ange Ball having a good time of it. Timo Werner adding a fourth. As we said earlier, John McGinn sent off for Aston Villa with about half an hour remaining. So another chance from Livy for a set piece delivery then.
Well, Sean Kelly going to put this right in. Good left foot on him. Put it right on top. Oh, it's a good one. Just to knock him just around the penalty area. Couldn't get enough on that, but he was free. He had a good few yards there.
Oh, it's good from Nicholas Kuhn. It's really good, and Celtic could be away if they can pick the right pass, but they can't, and it's a good tactical foul, as they say. But Willie Collin plays the advantage. Wondering if Celtic watched it. Falls edge of the box. Oh, and I thought the option for Matt O'Reilly, sorry.
Still got it.
What's the Livy player thinking there?
It's a calamity, but it's in the back of the net.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Now I know on radio you're looking for more than just a series of noises coming out of the pundits' mouths, okay? But Matt O'Reilly, it sat up nice. He probably should have passed it. The shot was blocked. It comes back to him. He works his way into the box, fires another shot, but Michael McGovern can't gather it. It pops up, and Dalziel Maeda heads it, but almost doesn't go over the line, and eventually sneaks over. And Dalziel Maeda is on a hat-trick already. Celtic 2, Livy 1.
Well, the defending was absolutely chaotic. I said they were sleepy from the start. Livy, they're now sleepy and sloppy. And Dalziel Maeda, his 100th game for Celtic, truly turning into a landmark occasion.
That's all about, for me, that's all about great refereeing.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was going to say that. We don't do it. We never give it credit. Willie Collum is a really good use of advantage, isn't it?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's the way football should be played. He sees the situation, very experienced ref, lets it go, and Celtic obviously get the benefits of it.
I know a lot's happened in that sequence, Mark, and it does come back at him quickly, but the final act of it, Michael McGovern need to do a lot better.
Listen, I'm thinking, if you're Davy Martindale, which one do you pick out at half time, or do you pick them all? Because you look at Christian Montano as well. He's got the ball in the 18-yard box. He can clear it. He gets it caught under his foot. He gives it away, which allows the shot to go in. But then when Maeda heads it, I mean, McGovern's got to save it. It's right at him that comes off him and goes in the net. Oh, what a bad goal for Livy to lose. Froze frame it there, and it was 4 Celtic attackers against 3 Livy defenders. Now, everybody's saying, oh, it's great, Livy's had a real go here, but you're going to get picked off if you continue like that at Celtic Park. And what a poor goal for them to lose.
It's incredible. 23 minutes on the clock. Maeda's kicked the ball, touched the ball twice. He's on a hat-trick.
But at least the crowd are getting value for money. It's a far livelier game than we had anticipated.
Yeah, corner to Celtic. Nicholas Kuhn just scrapping away with Montano. Or was it a handball? Yeah, I think it was. Free kick, sorry, right down by the corner.
Yeah, to follow on from our analysis of Kuhn early doors, he has really started well. I think
looks sharper, doesn't he?
Even when it came to the goal, nice, couple of touches, nice little break. He does look sharp. So give credit where credit's due, because he's been poor for a number of weeks now, but he's standing out here.
Yeah, the free kick, they tried to go low to the front post for Scales to flick it on, but it doesn't quite work out.
I think that was one off the training ground. I think Brendan Rodgers has recognised the height that Livy have got. Tried to just play a little sneaky one in there to Scales, a low ball in. He's trying to flick it. Unfortunately, it didn't.
You think
come
so?
off.
You think they've worked on that, and 100%. They're going to take the centre half, Scales flicking it with his right foot, his weaker foot.
Why would they have ran the front post and flicked it?
I don't know if it would have meant to have
100%. I'm giving the Celtic coaching staff
I would have probably said, look, what we'll do is we'll put Ida across the front.
I see logic in both your thought processes here, because I'm a bit like you initially, Gordon. I thought, they've tried that, but Mark makes a very compelling case.
No, he doesn't.
At what point do you go, I know who will get to go and flick it with his weak foot into the net? Liam Scales.
He's our man.
I don't think Scales is trying to flick that into the front, but I think Scales is trying to flick that on for the next one.
Flick it behind him.
I'm telling you, that's
even harder.
That is a training. That is a training routine.
He could have put Dennis Bergkamp in there and they couldn't reverse flick it with his right foot.
Absolute nonsense. Training. That's off the training ground.
That's why the Saudis want you for an analysis like that.
Because I was speaking to one of the staff and they said, "Watch this new free kick we've got."
Flick in the corner with his right foot. Well, I get your logic. Livy have got physicality and height in their team, and you do wonder. Celtic seem to just put a lot in the box now. They've had success in recent weeks. I think they scored, was it 3 headers against Dundee, but you wonder if they just a wee bit of imagination in the box, play things. I don't think that was one they've worked on.
I've got to say, I know Kuhn's not had a great start to his Celtic career, but the one thing he looks like he's got is terrific control of the ball when he's in form, and he's in form for obviously 26 minutes. I thought he's been excellent, but he looks like he's really I think he'd be a terrific training player.
Well, he's in here, he's in the side of the box, he's got so much time, almost too much. He couldn't really pick out an option and it's cleared, but Celtic come back with it again, hacked clear once more by Livy.
See, in that situation, to be fair, I don't know which options he had, because the Livy players had blocked along the 6-yard line. I think he needs one of his teammates to actually move from him there. He's almost come to a standstill inside the Livy penalty area, going along the touchline. He needs somebody just to a wee sharp burst. Nobody move for him.
He's come in for criticism, but he's been excellent so far.
He looks to me like someone who's thinking, this is my day, you know.
Yeah, you get those, Hugh. He needs it. He certainly needs it. He needs a big performance. And to be fair to lad, I think so far, he's delivering.
As both teams are, because with 27 minutes gone, it's a real good cup tie.
Noticing this a lot now with Celtic. Joe Hart just playing so much higher when the centre halves get possession. He's almost at the centre circle, and it's just to be that bounce pass to change the point of attack. Oh, great ball there from Maeda.
There's a shot come cross.
Sure?
Shot come cross.
I think you're giving him more credit. The run was spectacular. The next bit was very Dyson Maeda.
I think you're right, Gordon.
That's a cross all day long.
On the left foot, it was great pace. You're just dreading that for the Livy defender. The cross almost does catch out the goalkeeper.
A lot of pace on it.
He knows he's on his hat-trick.
See, that's why I think some Celtic fans are frustrated with the wingers. Maeda just touches the ball by him there and absolutely takes him right out of the game with his pace. You know what I mean? You'd be doing that all day long. You'd be just saying, give me the ball, I'm going to knock it by you, you've got a problem here. But he's got to get a bit more quality.
You think it would be a simple fix for Maeda, wouldn't you? In training, after training, 10 minutes, give him 10 balls, go it wide with a mannequin, go past the mannequin and just feed it across the face, and do that 10-15 times after every session, and you'll see the quality coming. But he's been here a long time now, and it never seems to change that final ball. You just never know what you're getting with him. Sometimes it's on the money, more often not it's not.
Unless the Scottish mannequins are decent, Mark.
I've been tackled by a few myself.
Matt O'Reilly's cross doesn't come to much from the corner. Mikey McGovern comes and gathers. It looks like the Livy confidence that they had built up from the goal has evaporated again with the Celtic goal. I suppose that is the understandable way of things.
And Celtic looking full of themselves going forward. Livy, I'd fear for them if they lost a third before half time. I would fear what the second half might bring. But were they to get an equaliser before half time, then we're back off and running.
You can always tell a good game. There's nearly 30 minutes in the clock. It's been excellent, I've got to say. End to end, excellent. Celtic are starting to, I agree with you, I think a third would certainly put this tie to bed. But Livy's still in this.
Just looking at the potential for varying it up from Nicholas Kuhnmark. Just go down the line sometimes, just because the defenders are showing him there. So if he actually could develop that and get that in his locker, it would be very tough.
Well, you know what, I heard Brendan Rodgers saying an interesting thing a couple of weeks ago about how he wants his wide players to go on the outside more often than not, and Kuhn's the opposite from that, but he's got Alistair Johnson there, who is a willing runner. Like if I was a defender, a left back playing against Kuhn, I would shut off the inside of the pitch and I would exaggerate it and I would back myself. But he's looked
down the line, Mark.
But he's looked slightly sharper today than the last 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, he didn't look like he had blistering pace.
That's the point though, right? So if you know much more than me about this sort of stuff, but if you've come in the pitch a couple of times already and made it work well, imagine then having it in your locker to then vary it the next time, and then it's such a nightmare for the defence, because they are trying to show him they're leaving him that big space.
Without doubt. And I think I heard Brendan Rodgers saying weeks ago as well about Lewis Palmer. They had to work on him a bit, varying his game, and it's paid off. So Kuhn's the same, but he's been lively this afternoon, as is a lot of Celtic players. He does not seen much either, have we? He's hardly touched the ball, really.
Funny enough, I was watching his movement there and his run, and it's a nice touch off to, is it Greg Taylor, and then he gets back in front post. You're right, but look, you know what like centre forwards are, Mark. They can go 60-70 minutes, they're never involved in the game, and it's all about scoring goals. So he's certainly a threat if Celtic can get the right sort of a service to him.
Celtic's midfield certainly on top just now. Livy midfield can't get near them. Bernardo, O'Reilly and Awata just really controlling the game at the minute. But it's a nice open game. We've got to say Livy's not just came here to sit in their 18-yard box and soak up pressure. At least they're committing bodies forward and trying to get the ball as forward as quickly as possible.
But they look up against it. The earlier confidence, as Gordon said, has evaporated. Joe Hart's now feeling free to act as an outfield player, and it all points towards a third goal for Celtic before half time.
You take the Livy goal out, I think Brendan Rodgers will be very, very pleased with what he's seen. I really do. I think that they're good movement, they're knocking the ball about. Obviously you're right, they're trying to show Kuhn, to make sure he doesn't come onto that left foot and pick out passes, because he's certainly a danger. But Livy just need to believe that at 2-1 they're still in the cup tie.
Oh sure,
still in the cup tie.
Yeah, 32 gone. Celtic 2, Livy 1. This is the second of the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. Remember, Aberdeen are already through, but there's a managerial vacancy. If you had a really, really heavy day out and you missed all this and you're just wondering what on earth we're on about, well, it was quite the day. Aberdeen beating Kilmarnock at Pittodrie, then announcing that Neil Warnock is leaving, so the search is on for another manager. It'll be interesting to see who.
All manner of names in the betting, from Paul Heckingbottom to Alex Neil. I have to say that I would disregard Neil Lennon, because if it was his job to get, then there was no reason why, after he's finished working for television today, he couldn't go up to Aberdeen and be introduced as manager tomorrow. But that's not the case.
You make a fair point. He is part of the TV coverage today for Celtic Livy, and remember Aberdeen's statement yesterday said they were well down the line with the next managerial appointment. If it is him, he's a good actor. He's doing his best. Oscar nominated performance there to try and keep it hidden that it is him. So you have to imagine they've got a man everybody knows who it is up there, and it'll happen soon.
Unless it's as simple as Neil Lennon saying to Aberdeen, I've committed to television work on Sunday, we'll do the press conference on Monday.
It's a bit of cash in this TV gig for me, so I'm gonna come after that.
I don't think that. I think Lenny would have taken himself out of the situation if he's got to be the Aberdeen manager on Monday. I really do. I know it's a wee extra shift, couple of quid in the pocket.
I've got to agree.
But so the fact that you two have turned up for work today, it's not either of you either.
I certainly not. If I was Aberdeen manager on Monday or Tuesday, I'd been over.
Livingston are in again. Joe Hart comes out, gets it right this time. You may remember this fixture earlier in the season. Joe Hart got sent off, didn't he? Racing out of his goal,
of course,
at Livingston, but that one was a bit more straightforward.
Well, I've seen their team bus coming here today to Celtic Park, and they had the lines on the bus. He certainly wasn't as brave as a lion, let me just say, going through there 1-1.
No, he saw Big Joe coming towards him.
Exactly. It was more of a cat, a small one at that. I think he's got to be stronger.
So you've seen the Livy team bus on the motorway today, and you're all excited because it's got a lion on the side of it.
And he thought, you've got to be brave as a lion. That's why the bus has got the lines.
I thought Yenge was favourite to get that.
So did I,
and he's pulled it. Why is that with you in team buses? How do you?
I know.
How do you always come across so many team buses?
I don't. I'm now watching for him. I'm now a team bus spy.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a team bus.
By the way, I've got to say I'm very impressed with the team buses. I'm going to have a competition at the end of the season. Best team bus. They're fantastic now.
The way things have evolved now, there's rapping and that now. It's
brilliant.
Aberdeen's is good.
Aberdeen's always been good.
There's
always been good. Aberdeen.
Yeah.
They put a bit of cash because they're travelling long distances, of course, aren't they?
Big double decker, innit?
So what did at the peak of your powers, what did the Celtic team bus have anything exciting on it?
It had the chef on it. He cooked. Aye, it was brilliant actually. It was good. So when you went on, like most buses, I think there was a fridge at the front. You lifted the little worktop thing lid, and it was full of chocolate and juice and things for after the game. But then the chef would prepare all the meals in the kitchen and load them in to the kitchen on the bus. There was an oven and a microwave, so when you come on after the game, like after today's game, what do you want? Do you want pasta? Do you want whatever, a curry or chicken and rice or whatever? And you would tell him, he would just go and serve it to you.
The boy would meet you at the bus
great.
stop about halfway down the road. Did you ever go and sleep in the beds in the team bus?
We didn't have beds.
Did you not?
Why would we have beds
long journey
on team bus?
That's right.
For where? Celtic Park to Motherwell.
Yeah, you maybe
What do you mean?
playing Clyde.
What, you had beds in your bus?
Man City team bus had beds, and they had a settee and chairs up there. They had a separate one.
Settee. I've not heard a couch called a settee for years.
There you go.
It's a nice flowing move from Celtic. Kuhn's crowded out, and then it's flashed over the bar from Paulo Bernardo.
The Livy defence is shocking. I mean,
struggling a bit, aren't they?
Yeah, you've no idea what they're trying to do. They lost a goal by being over elaborate, and that they are all over the place.
To be honest, Hugh, I think it's a movement of Celtic. Sometimes you can analyse a game and say, "Oh, they're shocking. They're all over the place. They're getting dragged all over the place."
Yeah.
That's sometimes you've just got to go. Players' movement. They're so clever. That's why they're playing with teams like Celtic at the top level. They know how to move defenders and bodies out the road for other people, and we can sit here and analyse and go, "Oh, it's shocking defending," but I think it's good play with the Celtic players.
But they're almost there for the first half, Livy, but still time. If Celtic score a third goal, it's bye-bye. But if Livy get an equaliser, terrific second half in prospect. And here's Joe Hart, the outfield player again.
Yeah, it's a tactic he's employing more and more, Hugh. Coming up and just starting to play from 40 yards for his own goal.
He'll be up for corners next.
Yeah. So back to the team bus, you went for a sleep sometimes.
Yeah, well,
on the beds.
Well, you think about it, we were down at Chelsea, London and stuff like that, and coming up the road.
Sounds like a rock star bus.
Oh, it was fantastic. The only thing was I couldn't close because I had claustrophobia, obviously. I couldn't close the shutter. Let's say the shutter. But terrific. And you're right, in the days, in my days, they had the chef on the team, but it was the best things. Brilliant.
Was it like
for the game to finish?
Was it like
school trip?
Was it like school trip politics? Did you always sit next to the same person on the team bus?
Aye, we all had our same seats. Yeah.
Did you?
Aye. What is nerve-wracking you see when you join? When I joined Celtic,
like where do you sit?
Where do you sit? So you're just going on the bus and you're kind of a bit hesitant.
Bet you went and sat next to the manager, didn't you?
Just back to back with a manager.
Aye, on his knee.
I sat just at the front, the Celtic team bus facing away. So who did I sit with? McGeady and then Charlie and stuff like that.
Chances.
Nah, back to the bus, it's fine. Doesn't come to anything. Adam Ida tries to lift it over the goalkeeper. Can't get the purchase on it.
But when you first join the club and you look up the back, and at that time I seen, there was Lenny there was Petrov, there Alan Thompson and guys like that, and you're going, don't really want to go up there. Keane was obviously there, and Dion Dublin and guys like that, and you're going,
do you know my first experience with Man City was unbelievable. It shows you how times have changed. I come on after the Chelsea game, Mick McCarthy, Paul Power, Kevin Bond, all them sitting up the back. The bus goes out to Stamford Bridge and they light up cigars. Right. I've never seen anything like this. They're all sitting there with a cigar, having a cigar. Oh, how things have changed.
Adam Ida falls out the sky, he gets it all wrong, doesn't catch it at all and falls over, and the ball trickles towards Michael McGovern.
Well, it's now becoming a bit of a mystery why Celtic aren't 3-1 up, because whether it's the players, the defenders from Livingston being dragged all over the place by Celtic, or the fact that they're just not very good.
Speaking of not very good, that wasn't very good from Liam Scales, but I think it's not going to prove too costly. Greg Taylor's able to let it go out, but did he think it was?
I don't know what he's thinking there.
Oh, that's a disaster from Celtic. Greg Taylor lets it go because he thought it was a goal kick, but it's a corner.
Yeah. See, in that situation, I'm never a fan of that. When you're not quite sure, just clear it, just put it up the line. But
should he do better here?
It's hard. It's a hard one.
It's coming on. He has to do better though.
Yeah, he has to make connection with the ball. But
I know it's difficult to score that, but still.
Yeah, but it's a hard one. It's coming over his shoulder, high out the air, pressure on his back as well. He just doesn't make any sort of contact with the ball. But poor from Celtic to allow this corner.
But we thought that the set pieces could put Celtic under pressure, and so far that's not been the case.
Is this the Hugh Keevinsism you've been waiting for? No, it's not on this occasion, but it's going to be another, probably a long throw this time to come back in.
Yeah, it's good defending from Celtic, I've got to say.
It's a poor ball from Kelly.
I was going to say, I don't think
the quality. A few have been too high, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't think the quality is good at all. I think Davey will be having a word there.
He was the best set piece deliverer you played with, Nakamura.
Maloney was good. No, Maloney was really good. By the way, Barry Robson at Dundee United, magnificent. Barry Robson whipping it right across the face. But Nakamura was a different world.
I was very fortunate.
I take it he would practice them all the time.
Not so much corner kicks, no, just the free kick taking all the time, constantly, all the time, every day after training. But the corners was just.
This could come to something. Adam Ida just getting that. Mikey McGovern's way out of his goal.
Got to shoot.
Nicholas Kuhn thinks about shooting and at the back post. What an effort that was. The ball came through. It was a mistake from Livy. Adam Ida was in. Mikey McGovern, the keeper, couldn't get there, but eventually Ida didn't make the most of it. He made a real backside of it, actually. It falls to Nicholas Kuhn in a crossing shooting position because there was an open goal, and when he crosses it to the back post, the header almost comes in, but McGovern eventually recovers.
I think Ida's got to do better there. I think he's favourite, but it's a great effort. And Maeda, back post against two.
Yeah, he does well, actually, doesn't he?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He gets in there looking for a hat trick, must be hungry for a match ball. But I think Ida's got to do. I think he's favourite all day long there for me.
But he's not had a good half.
What is about centre forwards nowadays? I would have been right in there.
Scared to get sent off. What's that? Any 50-50 now, you're in danger. Yourself getting sent off.
70-30 in his favour though.
But it was the same with Yenge the other side as well. Both of them pulling it when I thought they were favourites myself.
Well, Libby looking for that one chance before half time, and here's another opportunity to throw the ball in.
Have they got a long throw specialist, Livy? Have they got one that can just.
When they first, remember the first few seasons when they got promoted, they had loads. Lyndon Dykes actually used to go and take quite a few of them for Livy. Alan Lithgow had one, didn't he?
That's right, yeah.
There was a few.
Mackay's, is it Mackay? No,
it's a free kick Stephen Kelly's going to take.
I've never seen Livy play so open at Celtic Park. Usually, very difficult to play through, but
I know they've got a height advantage, but why are they playing the ball so high in there? Every free kick here's
that's going to be a booking. I think there was just a pull on Nicholas Kuhn's jersey, otherwise he was away. He has looked sharp, as we've said, and Dan Mackay, the Livy goal scorer, goes into the book, and it probably one he'll take, Gordon, because I think Celtic were about to cut Livy open. Yeah, Kuhn looks very sharp, doesn't he? Every time he gets the ball, he looks a threat down this right hand side. It was one he had to take for a team, no doubt about that, because Livy cannot afford to lose another one before half time, because that team talk would be completely different, and I think the tie would be well away from them. Livy's set pieces that we identified as being a problem for Celtic have been a problem for Livy, Mark. Every time they don't make it count, Celtic break quite quickly.
Well, they've been too easy to defend against.
Adam Ida's header saved and gathered at the second attempt by McGovern.
I think Mikey McGovern is having a difficult afternoon. He is, to put not to find a point on it, having a hard day.
I think Ida maybe just onside, but it's an easy one for McGovern. It's just a simple header to gather, and he has to gather it at the second attempt. I think you're right with that, Hugh. But you're right, Gordon, because Livy are committing so many bodies forward at set plays, but the delivery's been so poor, and Celtic just got willing runners and pace to attack on the counter.
I mean, the big guys up front, I know that they haven't shown great bravery, but they're very, very rarely brought into it. They should be terrorising Scales and Welsh, but it's not happening.
But I think Gordon's making the point, and he's right. The quality of the balls is in favour of Celtic. You look at Joe Hart there, he's got plenty of time to come out and just punch the last one away. You can't play high balls, you've got to give them something to go at.
So we're in the closing stages, 3 minutes added on, but Stephen Welsh has come out with the ball and lost it. If Livy can make Celtic pay just before the break, that could change everything, but they end up forced back. Maybe a lack of belief at being able to drive forward and take advantage of that mistake from Stephen Welsh.
There'll be a restructuring at Celtic Park at the end of the season. I mean, there's too much that's gone wrong this season for that not to be the case. But Celtic can't have a defensive pairing of Scales and Welsh. Not when you're looking to win everything domestically and to make some kind of progress on a European stage. if Carter Vickers has got serious injury problems, they're going to have to get in about the central defensive pairing.
Tried, of course, in the form of Lagerbielke and Nawrocki. Nawrocki must be injured, is he? Lagerbielke's on the bench today, I believe.
Yes, he is. No sign of Nawrocki though.
I think you made a good point earlier here about Carter Vickers and how he moves the ball much better. I think everybody thinks defensively, and that is first and foremost your job, and he is much better defensively than the other two. But how he moves the ball and how quickly he moves it is a huge loss for Celtic, and we've seen it in this half alone. Scales and Welsh on the ball are nowhere near the standard that Carter Vickers is.
I actually think that in behind though as well, you saw the difference at Fir Park when he came on. Suddenly Theo Bair and Jack Vale were doing the exact same things, but they couldn't get in behind because Carter Vickers was just there.
He's reading the games
to mop it up. Whereas you see, granted it has only really been once, but you wonder, does that goal that Livy scored today, does that happen if he's the right-sided centre-back?
Probably not.
Absolutely no chance. I'll defend him there. He's very good at reading the games, knowing when to step up, when to drop off, timing, good in the
this
ball.
Is a nice move this from Celtic, but again can't force it across. It's been a bit more Celtic of old with some of those little triangles they're working, Mark, in the wider areas,
creating overloads in those areas, and Livy really can't handle it. People know matching their runners, and that's what Celtic thrive on, and they run off the back of you.
Well, there we go. This is Livy trying to get in behind again. Liam Scales taking no chances this time, but it falls to a Livy player. They might just have the final say of this first half. Greg Taylor can't get there, it's into the box. But Celtic eventually do get numbers back, and Davy Martindale will be pulling his... No, forget that. He'll be frustrated at the way Livy couldn't take advantage. Half time, let's speak to Gabriel.
Yes, half-time, Gordon. It's Celtic 2, Livingston 1. Dyson Maeda has a goal either side from an impressive Dan Mackay equaliser, and it's been a great end-to-end tie so far. Right winger Nicholas Kuhn began the game well, just in his third start for the club. 7 minutes in, he cut in as he likes to do onto his left foot. A lovely curled pass over the defence. Great movement from Maeda. A touch and finish past Michael McGovern. It looked like it might be plain sailing for Celtic, but it wasn't to be. Just 5 minutes later the game was level. A good knock into the channel from Christian Montano in the Livingston defence, and there was acres of space for the pacey Mackay. Stephen Welsh couldn't get across to him, and the ball bounced a couple of times. Mackay took his time, let it drop down a bit, but he expertly smashed it high into the net. 1-1. Suddenly it was a Celtic counter-attack next. The ball came to Matt O'Reilly inside the box. He had a great chance. He saw it saved by the Livingston goalkeeper. Livy then had 2 or 3 chances to clear, but O'Reilly pounced again, fired a right-footed effort straight at McGovern, who parried it, and there was Maeda to head in a rebound, although it was straight at McGovern, who's trying to get back up. He gets a hand to it, he really should have saved it, but the ball trickled in for the Japanese winger's second of the game. And Maeda then had a shot come cross, nearly a hat-trick. It must be said, Celtic's wide men have been really good so far today. An equaliser looked like it might be on the cards just before half-time. The ball was bouncing through for Mengi up top. He looked the favourite to beat Hart, but the goalkeeper rushed out and cleared. And then just before the interval, it was Livingston's keeper who was outside of his box. He was coming out to tackle Adam Eder. It was Kuhn who retrieved it on the touchline. A big swinging ball in, Maeda headed it on target, but McGovern just about recovered the ball to keep the scoreline at 2. The German has been great down the right hand side in that first 45, and a great game overall, but it's far from over here. Half time in the Scottish Cup quarter final. Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
And that's the good thing about the game, as Gabriel said, it's not over, and we await an interesting second 45 minutes. I just think that Livingston, the goalkeeper's having a torrid afternoon of it. Doesn't look confident. The defenders are all over the place. I just think the overwhelming odds favour Celtic.
I think it's been an entertaining first half. I think Livy's came here certainly with a game plan to try and get at Celtic when they can. I don't think they've came to Celtic Park and thought we'll park the bus and get everybody behind the ball, and you can quite clearly see that because there's huge gaps that Celtic are exploiting. Funny enough, I think both managers will be satisfied with that first 45. Davy Martindale will maybe be a bit annoyed at the goals he's conceded, but he'll certainly be happy with how their goal came about. And Brendan Rodgers, I think when he looks at it, the way his team have knocked the ball about, the way they've created opportunities will please him. Probably frustrated that they haven't added to it and maybe put this game further away from Livy at this moment in time, but I think he'll be encouraged by that first 45 minutes.
I think you've got to say Celtic are well in control. Yes, I've lost a sloppy goal. Their two wingers have been the difference in the first half. Maeda getting 2 goals, and Kuhn in the right hand side I thought has been excellent in everything he's doing and he's done. So I think Brendan Rodgers will be very happy. But Mark's right, David Martindale's been saying to his players, we're still in this cup tie if we can get a goal.
Yeah, a busy first 45 minutes at Celtic Park. At the break it's Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Half time in the day's first Scottish Cup quarter final. Celtic lead Livy by 2-1. It's been a lively first half. Celtic taking the lead through Dalziel Maeda on his 100th appearance for Celtic. Livy hit back quickly through Dan Mackay. Very good goal from Livy. Poor from Celtic defensively. And then if we're talking about poor defensively, we're just seeing the Celtic second goal back. It is an absolute calamity from Livingston.
They're a circus act at the back, and they're not helped by the goalkeeper. That's an own goal for me. Maeda's header should never have made it across the line, but Michael McGovern put it there. So that, for me, nothing to do with Dalziel Maeda and his 100th appearance, but I'd put that down to an own goal.
No, see, you make up your own rules sometime. That is Dalziel Maeda's goal because it's on target. That's the way it works. I know you would like to have your own system, the Keevins scale, but it's a Dalziel Maeda goal, albeit it is terrible from Livingston, Mark.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, they had so many opportunities to clear the ball, and that'll be the thing that disappoints David Martindale, that he'll appreciate how good Celtic's movement is and how difficult it is to track them sometimes. And of course, when you go to Celtic Park, you're going to give up opportunities. But when you start creating your own problems, like they have done in this first 45 minutes, and then it leads to a goal, that second goal is calamitous, then you'll be in there, you will be going off in one, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be saying it's encouraging, but I'm sure he'll be having a go at Montano and saying, if you've got the ball at the edge of your 18-yard box and you've got 3 players pressing you, then get rid of it. Don't try and be clever. And for the goalkeeper, well, he's made the first save. The second save's probably easier when Maeda heads it because it's right at him. I don't know how he doesn't keep it at the back of the net.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. I think Martindale will be in there. He'll not be happy, but I think Brendan Rodgers will be. I think that the next goal will kill it for them. Livy still a threat. If they're going to use their height, and they've certainly got plenty of it, they've got to get a bit more quality into the box.
Tell you what, maybe a wee view from behind. Maybe it is going wide.
Yeah,
maybe we could benefit from that. I don't quite think it is, but I think I would be interested in seeing a wee view from behind either way. But yeah, Celtic are in front. It's been a strange half, Mark. I wonder if that's almost sort of sums Celtic up. Like, control wise, this is a comfortable day. It's 2-1. I mean, how can you be comfortable in a cup tie at 2-1 when you've seen how easily you can concede? And I suppose it's an all too familiar story for Celtic this season. The defence hasn't been as stingy as they would have liked.
Well, more often not, yeah, because there's large periods in the games that we've watched this season and this afternoon that you go, yeah, you can really see the way Celtic are moving. Midfielders running beyond the front men, overloads in the wide areas that we're talking about. They get to the byline and it all looks like it's going to end one way. But one, they're not clinical enough at the top end of the pitch, and there's only been a few occasions they have been, and Dundee been one of them a couple of weeks ago, of course, but not often enough. And at the other end, of course, where you've got Carter Vickers playing a couple of games, then dropping out for 3 games, then playing a couple of games, and then it's Welsh or it's Nawrocki and it's Scales, and you're rotating those, you get no consistency. And I think you can clearly see that. And the goal that they concede, I think you can quite clearly see that Welsh out of position, chooses the wrong option, tries to play offside. I think you mentioned it, if Carter Vickers was in there, I don't think that happens because he reads the ball being played through, he'd be in the right side, Mackay who's running through, and he would just stop the attack at source. So certainly problems at both ends of the pitch this season for Celtic.
Very interesting to hear Brendan Rodgers on the subject of Carter Vickers after this game is over, because now is not the time for Celtic to be without Cameron Carter Vickers. The games they have coming up, the climax to the title race, nothing would harm Celtic as much as Carter Vickers been out for a a length of time. So when Gabriel speaks to him, we need an injury check.
If there is a positive in a personnel sense, Gordon, I wonder if it is Nicholas Kuhn. Good by anyone's standards probably today, but especially against the whole raft of criticism since he came into the club.
Yeah, he's come under the spotlight, Gordon. He didn't hit the ground running. I thought when he came on against Aberdeen at Pittodrie in his first outing, he looked very sharp indeed. And then he's had a few games that he's not shown anything. But today, and I know that people can argue it's at Celtic Park against Livy, bottom of the table, but you've still got to go out and do it, and it's a cup tie. I think he's 45. He's got to take a lot of confidence from that. He's been excellent. His pick out for Maeda's goal is excellent. It's fantastic. It's a great ball. He's coming in his left foot, and I know that people are saying, well, show him down the line. He looks like he's got a trick in his locker. I think he needs a bit of confidence. Certainly gained that today with that first 45 plus. Interesting to see how he handles the second half, but so far good signs for him, I've got to say that.
On the evidence of that 45 minutes, I wouldn't like to play against him. I've said in weeks gone by that I think it'd be easy to play against him, but on that 45 minutes he's been good. I think his wee flicks around the corner and his movement has been really clever as well. Probably what's deserting him is when he gets to the byline, he's got in the box a couple of times. When he's on his right foot, then he's struggled to pick that final pass. But the one he puts into Maeda for the goal is terrific, and it's because he gives himself enough space away from the defender to pick that run out. And of course Maeda has to make the run as well, so maybe something that's been spoke about. I think Maeda will know when he's got Kuhn and he sees his left foot every day in training that he's well capable of playing that pass, and it results in a goal this afternoon.
Let's go back to Celtic Park. Any sign of the teams for the second half, Gabriel?
Not yet, Gordon. The substitutes all just out on the pitch warming up. The rain hammering down. The subs all out here just trying to keep warm, I think. But not a sign of a change for either team just yet. It will be interesting what Celtic do. They've got a few kids on the bench in Vata and Kelly, but also firepower, Kyogo and O on the substitutes bench. I'll let you know if any changes happen when the teams come back out.
Yeah, probably too early to be looking exactly at that. The game very much in the balance.
I'd be looking at
scoreline wise.
I'd be looking at Kyogo.
Oh, he'll feature at some point, Mark. I don't think there's any doubt.
I think so. You know what? I think he's a wee bit hard done by because again, I thought he did okay or better than okay when he came on at Tynecastle. There's no doubt he must have been disappointed because for seasons he has been Celtic's go-to man, the real star of the side, and now he finds himself a bit of a lack of form this season, a lack of goals compared to what he's been used to, and he's found himself on the bench. So when he came on against Hearts, he done okay. He must have been disappointed not to start.
Looks like it's as you were, Gabriel.
Yeah, Livingston team all out now. Just the same team, same formation as before. Celtic walking out, and Dalziel Maeda looks like the final player, just dropping something on the bench. Yeah, he's not going there. It will be the same 11. So really interesting final 45 here. Of course, it could be longer than that if the game does go the distance. Celtic with a 2-1 lead. It's been end-to-end chances at both ends, and we know that Celtic have got firepower on the bench. Big 45 minutes coming up with Livingston standing over the ball. The second half is just about to get underway.
Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. From apprenticeships to pharmacy managers, start your career with them today.
Well, you all predicted Celtic to win it. It's one of those cup ties. They're at home, Livy are bottom of the league. You're not getting any prizes for predicting a Celtic win. Does it feel very sort of on course for what most of you expected?
Yeah, I think if they come out the blocks and they get the next goal, I think it'll be a comfortable afternoon.
You're the only one that predicted Livy would score, Hugh, so you've got the bragging rights already.
I think, if Celtic score, make it 3-1, it's all over. There can be no pretense about it. It's a cup tie now at 2-1, but once it goes to 3-1 for Celtic, it ceases to be a cup tie and it will turn into a parade.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It's about how they start. Look, back in December they started very well and they got the goal after a minute into the second half, something like that. Brendan Rodgers obviously will be looking for a quick start again. You just wonder how Davy Martindale approaches this second half, because his team were open and they get a goal but they conceded so many chances. You wonder if it's the same approach, or does he go a bit more defensive, try and keep this 2-1 as long as possible? and then throw caution to the wind the last 15 minutes. But it looks fairly open. It looks like he's keeping Yenge higher up the pitch. You know, we've seen teams go and their front man as the first line of defence 40 yards from goal. Yenge's staying up, Nubly's staying relatively high as well.
I think he's got to be positive, Mark. Yeah. There's no point. It's a one-off cup tie. Look, yeah, totally agree. If it goes 3-1, that's away from them. But there's no point just sitting there and thinking, right, well, we'll get away with this to 20 minutes to go. Because if you sit deep and you do like Celtic, the way they knock the ball about can pick you off, game could be away from you. You may as well be positive for me.
There's nothing to lose. I mean, you're out as things stand. Might as well give it a go. You know, if it was 3-4-1, so what? You know, but go for glory.
Well, Celtic on the attack early on. Here is Nicholas Kuhn, and he does go outside this time. Flashes it across. Dies in Maeda, nutmegged, as it looked like he was going to fire home for his hat-trick. He was all alone at the back post. It did come across quite quickly, and I think took a nick. It ended up going through his legs, but there we are. Mark Wilson. Well, we said Nicholas Kuhn at some point, just go on the outside, because the Livy defender's almost asking you to, and or sorry, not expecting you to, and he did it on that occasion.
Well, you're right in the first instance. Montano's almost asking, on you go on the outside, but that little burst that we've not seen just comes to life there, and he does well. He just feeds it across, and maybe Ida should get better contact, but Maeda, certainly it goes through his legs. And now what's the Livy fullback thinking? Is he thinking he's going to go on the outside this time? So you just vary it, you make it more difficult to play against.
Very interesting pass from Paulo Bernardo, though. He sort of turns backwards and volleys it up to what, and it's a chance for Livy. Celtic really making life tough for themselves on that occasion. Celtic are in an attacking position, and Bernardo volleyed it backwards. It went way up into the air. Yenge got it. Livy built an attack, and in the end it was Yenge that was there to head it past the near post.
I think he's got to do better. You don't get many chances at Celtic Park, and when they come along, I think you've got to try and test the goalkeeper there. It's a good ball in. He's in front of the defenders. I think that's a weak header.
He's just in front of the six, in front of the post.
He has to glance it.
He just needs to glance it, and his contact's too full, and it just goes straight. And you know, any little glance, I think Joe Hart will find that hard to save.
The noise you hear from the studio is what's described as a centre back just strode forward, tried to hit a shot at goal and fired it 20 yards over the bar.
It wasn't the best, was it?
No, it lacked imagination. You know, there must have been something else you could do other than that.
Here's this again, Hugh. Should Ida? I think he's better. Yeah. Do you know what? When I first seen it, I was thinking I'll wait for a replay, but I don't know what he's trying to do.
He's trying to be clever, Ida. He's trying to dink that with the outside his left boot. Just get a little deft touch in it, and he doesn't get enough contact, which leads it travelling through to Maeda.
He's had enough of the second half.
Getting him off. You're getting Hugh going already.
He's just going to embarrass himself if he stays on.
I mean, you've waited to 50 minutes. That is long by your standards, so I don't actually mind that.
I like the way you think.
Get him off.
You get him off. That's it. You've had your chance. But I've got to say, it's great wing play, but I think Ida will be disappointed. He's got to do better.
Yeah, it's really one-way traffic at the moment. Livy penned in a little bit. They have shown that there can be opportunities to go, but whether they can make the most of them. And Kuhn's footwork has been impressive this afternoon. He comes in, just scoops one. It's a lovely pass. Bernardo just waiting for it to come down.
Dear me.
Fires wide. I wonder if he could have taken it earlier, Mark. He was just waiting on it to drop Paulo Bernardo, but it's a lovely scooped pass from Nicholas Kuhn.
Brilliant from Kuhn, brilliant vision, good run from Bernardo. Yeah, he takes his touch on his chest. I think McGovern closes the angle quite well there, but great play again from the Celtic winger. Very kind of Jota yesterday, the way he's coming in, wee tricks and flicks, wee scoop over the top there. You know, Celtic fans thought that that's what they were getting when the transfer was made. Not seen it up until now, but for 50 minutes he has been the standout this afternoon.
It's quite Patrick Roberts-esque for a man who looks very much like Patrick Roberts, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
But it's some of those little touches so far today.
That pass was the mark of someone who, as I said earlier on, thinks, I'm bang on it today.
You wonder what Montano's thinking though, because he's probably thinking,
get me off.
This guy has been so
again.
poor for 4 weeks. Yeah, he's gone by me at every opportunity. But it's the performance he needed, and it just adds confidence to him, but confidence to the Celtic fans that You may have a winger capable, holding down that that right hand side for them. With Yang being out again for a couple of games, then he's going to have to fill the gap.
But when Celtic's defenders come forward and lose it, it does leave them a little bit exposed. Liam Scales tried to flick it over someone's head, it doesn't work, and luckily they do have numbers back.
Well, perhaps it's the makeshift nature of this Celtic team again. That they are kind of thrown together today in terms of personnel. But as I say, 2-1, 52 minutes in, it's still a cup tie.
Just with Iwata with Celtic, you never see him do much, do you? Iwata, he always seems just to occupy the middle of the pitch, know what you're getting, doesn't leave it, keeps things simple. And as much as I think he's a good player, he's certainly not up to McGregor standards.
He's just megged him into the back.
Christian Montano is just not enjoying this at all. He's been nutmegged now by Nicholas Cooney, holds him back. It's a free kick. He's possibly lucky there's not a card for stopping a promising attack.
Yeah, it's great play, great feet. He looks like he's got very, very quick feet when he gets the ball, but he's just playing with confidence. This afternoon he's playing with all the confidence in the world, and that's why he is demonstrating what he's got in his locker just now. And it looks like he's got terrific ability. He just needs a run of games to show the Celtic fans what he can do, but he's certainly off to a good start.
Disappointing set piece for Celtic, though. Mark not able to take advantage of it.
No, and that should really be swung in just in around the penalty spot, right across McGovern. But Livy have got a big backline to deal with it pretty easily there.
Here's Daisen Maida on the hat-trick, takes a bump and goes down, but nothing untoward according to Willie Collum.
Well, it's all Celtic, but until that third goal comes along, they can't book their place in the last 4, I beg your pardon, for the draw tomorrow.
Oh, chance here.
Offside.
And Livy are through at the moment. Good recovery from, I think it's Matt O'Reilly, is it, to try and get back in. Yengi's just so big. What a goal that is from Livingston.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
That is stunning from Tete Yengi, and we are level unless VAR has something to say about it. It is Celtic 2, Livy 2. It was a really poor actually from Matt O'Reilly in the first instance. He looks on, but as we say, it doesn't really matter what we think, the lines will be drawn. Matt O'Reilly tries to get back. He's forced Yengi out to the corner of the box. Yengi just holds him off, spins and buries it in the far corner. That is a wonderful goal.
Wonderful goal from Livingston's point of view. Yengi does so well, because I thought the opportunity was gone, but to have the strength and then the ability to turn and then finish into that far corner, what a finish. Celtic causing their own problems there. Terrible defending. Will this be ruled out? It was very tight. Initially I thought he was onside. I must say I thought he was on. I thought he timed it okay.
I was with Hugh. I thought he was slightly off, but I'll tell you what, he's no right to score from this.
What a finish in the end. But
terrific.
VAR is checking for a possible offside. It was when Matt O'Reilly lost the ball and then it was played forward. That is the crucial moment. Was Yengi offside? He was later forced down the left hand side of the box. Matt O'Reilly.
It's a goal, is it?
Yeah, goal.
Yeah, goal.
Yeah.
Yes, goal stands. Celtic 2, Livy 2. Now this is a proper cup tie.
Yeah, now Celtic are in that awkward territory where the supporters will not stand for, absolutely will not stand for, a third goal for Livingston. It would be very serious time for Celtic. They're now in dodgy territory.
Just seems there's a fragility going back the way for Celtic, Mark, and not all about the centre halves, because that's Matt O'Reilly's fault.
Well,
really, the goal,
they give the ball away.
it.
I was just about to say this half is about how quickly Celtic can move the ball and take the game to Livy, and they give the ball away in the halfway line and they're picked off. But O'Reilly gets back to him. You've got to look at the reactions of the other Celtic players as well. I seen Welsh, as soon as Yengi turns O'Reilly, who do you think he should be coming into next? It should be the centre half Welsh making the block. But Welsh is ambling back into the box, almost like Yengi's not going to score from there. Well, he turns O'Reilly. You should be the next contact in. So it's a dreadful goal from Celtic's point of view to concede. But from Yengi, what a finish.
And that's the problem, Gordon, when you're not secure going back the way, because in the sort of balance of play, if you like, this has been quite a comfortable afternoon for Celtic.
Yeah,
The level-
they've dominated the possession of the ball, of course they have, and you'd expect that. But when you see the back two, if you're a striker and you go to Celtic Park and it's Carter Vickers in there, you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to have a difficult day. When you go, and no disrespect, Welsh and Scales, you're thinking, I've got an opportunity here. I'll get a chance. But even take that in to the consideration here. That you'd no right to score from there, Gordon. That is a terrific goal.
Big save, Joe Hart to keep the scores level. Livy had a free kick. It was whipped in, headed down. Joe Hart stuck out the right boot, and now it will be a goal kick. And all of a sudden, this is turning into a very, very nervous afternoon for the holders.
The Livy players are thinking, we can take this lot. And the Celtic supporters, I would imagine that Gabriel is listening to large scale grumbling all around them at Celtic Park. Even for it to be 2-2 is unacceptable to the fans, I think.
I think this is where you need a bit of character. At 2-1, dominating, looking like you're going to go 3-1, everybody's wanting the ball. All of a sudden, you're right, Hugh, there'll be some rumblings coming from the seats of Celtic Park just now.
Yes,
you've got to be big and brave.
Gabriel's been in touch. It's starting to get a bit nervy, as you would expect, because Celtic have done a lot of attacking. They've scored 2 decent goals, they've created some chances, but Livy have gone up the park a couple of times and they have punished them. You have to say, this will always do this about Celtic's part in it, but it is wonderful from Tete Yengi, that.
Yeah. Oh, it's better than wonderful for me. As I say, when I seen him, I thought, right, try and hold the ball up, try and get support to him. He just it's a fantastic strike to beat Joe Hart from that angle as well. What a goal it is.
By the way, what a save it is from Joe Hart, because that's a difficult one coming through the bodies just moments after. Header down, is it Newbley? Header down into the ground, and he saves it with his feet. But you know, you've got to say, Celtic giving the ball away. You know, they left themselves open. Centre halves can't recover. But you're right, Yengi to have the ability to hold off O'Reilly. He has a look up. He realises there's nobody getting near him for any support. So why not have a go? It's a great finish.
Yeah, he does excellent, doesn't he?
David Martindale will be sitting thinking, where is this form in the league? Seems to have disappeared. But look, you can analyse it all you want. You can have a look at the part of Celtic playing it, but I like to be positive with the striker. That is top quality finishing for me.
The atmosphere at Celtic Park now, you find out who among the Celtic players is up for this, who's going to retreat into their shell, because the crowd are creating an atmosphere that says you dare not lose this game.
See, this is when I do agree with you now, Hugh, that I think Brendan Rodgers will be looking at, do I get people like Hugh going that on the pitch here today? Now, because this, as much as Celtic are still controlling the possession, this could go anyway. If Livingston had to score the next goal, I think we'd have a real shot in their hands.
Kyogo time.
Yeah,
I think so. You know what? Again, I'll go back to, I don't think Livy are sitting deep at the edge of their box too much that restricts space for Kyogo. I think there's enough space for Kyogo to operate in, and I don't think he has been on it today. He's had a couple of opportunities, looked a bit short this afternoon.
I can't disagree with that. He's not been on it. He's not been anywhere near it, but he's still a threat.
A lot of focus on, you know, some players who are not pulling up trees at the moment, and maybe some new signings, or sorry, the lack of new signings, and up until today Kuhn had been criticised. Do we hear as much as we should about the way Matt O'Reilly's tailed off since January?
You're absolutely correct. You know, he hasn't kicked a ball for weeks, and everyone makes the assumption that it's because of the rumoured move on loan to Atletico Madrid that didn't happen. But he's certainly, whether that's a coincidence or not, he certainly does not look like the player who lit up the opening part of the season and who is still Celtic's top goal scorer.
Well, you can stand by for him to score the winner in spectacular fashion in this one. It remains perfectly possible. Kyogo is coming on, and maybe Daniel Kelly as well.
A real favourite, Brendan Rodgers at the minute. Kelly came on at Tynecastle, which was a surprise from the young man.
Bernardo got himself in a good position there. A little bit unlucky.
Bernardo's now off.
Bernardo's went back to the Bernardo that I originally thought he was before his visit to Dens Park. You know, don't see much of him.
I think just now, especially with Celtic, we're going week to week in players, aren't we? You know, Bernardo, he's back to form, he's starting to hit the ground running now. Then the following week, he's back to what he was.
Adam Ida off
yeah,
for
I'm
Kyogo.
not surprised with that.
Tough afternoon, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been poor.
He's been involved in a lot, but it just feels like the touches haven't quite been there, or the finish has been lacking, or just missing that cutting edge.
I think he looks okay as well. I know he got a lot of criticism coming up, and it was never his fault, you know, where he's came from and how long he's here for. But I think he's looked alright ever since he came on at Pittodrie. He's got a nice touch, he's scored goals, important goals. Yes, he missed the penalty last week, but I still think he looks a decent front man. But this afternoon, poor. And now it's over to Kyogo. A big opportunity for him to show Brendan Rodgers that I'm your star man again. I'm the man that gets you out of hole, so don't be dropping me next week.
I wonder about players who are poor against a team who are bottom of the league, 51 points behind them, when you're playing at Celtic Park. You know,
I don't.
It looked more like one of those days for Ida rather than anything, didn't it? Just, if your touch is a bit loose or whatever, that can happen.
I don't think if you look at the full picture that Celtic have been really poor. They've scored 2 good goals, they've dominated the game, but they've just given up.
No, but Ida looked poor.
Oh yeah. He was. I thought his one opportunity was when Kuhn played a great ball in front post. He's got to do better for me there.
I would say defensively poor from Celtic this afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not been asked a lot of, you've got to say. Really, 2 or 3 situations that they've gave up, 2 goals within that, and Joe Hart to thank for the save to keep this at 2-2. I think they've been really weak. Welsh and Scales. So it's a real problem. When you take Carter Vickers, we mentioned at half time, you take him out the side, there is a huge gap.
And that's why the words of Brendan Rodgers at time up will be very interesting, because Celtic can't afford to be without Carter Vickers for an extended spell.
And if Callum McGregor turns out to be longer than anticipated, then
you're in trouble.
But Hugh, seeing that, I totally agree how important Carter Vickers is, right? You're talking about Celtic playing Livingston bottom of the league here.
Yeah.
Are you telling me they can't get away without Carter Vickers to go and cruise by Livingston?
Well,
if that's the case, then they're in real trouble.
At the moment, the answer to that question, yes, they are struggling.
I know what you're saying, but that would be my concern, because it's Celtic with the quality in the squad that they've got. Yes, Carter Vickers is a big miss to any side, no doubt about that. I.e., so's Callum McGregor. But you should still have enough at Celtic Football Club to beat Livingston at home.
Yeah,
he's done it again. He's added Football Club. That's when you know serious business. When
you
you call
business.
him the Football Club.
Yeah, okay.
It's a man who's passionate about his argument. It's Liverpool 0, Man City 0, if that is your type of thing. English Premier League big guns going at it today.
They've billed this as the title decider. Yeah, Arsenal are sitting top of the league.
Arsenal no winner.
By the way, did you see the Arsenal winner last night? Havertz. He should have been sent off. Talk about refereeing decisions here. He was already on the booking. He dived.
Yep,
but you can't give.
We would, of course, we would have dined out on that for a few nights. On
you
this
can't
show,
give a yellow card, can you, with VAR? But the players were adamant. He scores the winner.
No.
This Livy defence, how are they getting away with it?
I was actually noobly back there trying to defend and not doing a very successful job, I've got to say.
I think we all thought this would be run of the mill and kind of pretty simple. Every bottom of the league, Celtic, the quality they've got. It's turned into be a fantastic cup tie with some really good goals within that. And I don't know if you can call which way it's going to go.
Even at 2-1, it still sort of looked like it would be routine for Celtic in terms of the balance of play. But the second goal has really changed things, and that I can sense the groan from Celtic Park, because Stephen Wells strode forward. Everybody knew he was getting closed down from behind, and then he gets the ball nipped away from him.
Well, that's why I say that here's the
chance. And he's fluffed his lines. Dies in Maida for the hat-trick. He sneaked in there, and I think he maybe should have done better.
I don't know what Nottingham's thinking, that right back there. He just switches off, and Maeda's so sharp to get in. He's got to do better. He has got to do better.
Do you know something? You can have a go at the right back there, but I think all credit goes to Maeda. I think he's so sharp, he's so quick.
Believe me, if he scores, Davy Martindale is having a go at the right back.
I totally agree, but I just think he's so sharp. He nips in there very quickly.
If you're the right back there, Nottingham, and you've played against Maeda all day, where do you think he is when that cross is coming in? Surely you've got to know he's coming in behind me. But when the cross does get to Maeda, he just miskicks it. I think he's got all the time in the world there. Again, another opportunity goes a begging. You just wonder, a few more of these goes a miss. Livy get a set piece that they've already shown how dangerous they are at it. Then there is real problems at Celtic.
Well, if Livy get a third goal, Gabriel will need to go indoors and keep himself safe.
Celtic kind of getting in each other's way as they come forward there. Maeda came in field, but someone was just taking up the space that he wanted to move into.
I think Celtic are now in the territory of let's just get through this cup tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
At one point I thought they were cruising. It'd be a case of get the third goal, get the substitutions, make it a nice easy afternoon. It's not turned out that way.
Yeah, the misplaced passes are starting to be jeered by the home fans. Mark Wilson.
Yep.
I was going to say you've been there. It's not quite what I meant. It wasn't meant to be a criticism of you.
Oh no, I know what you mean.
But yeah, Celtic might need them to be pulling in the same direction between now and the end.
Well, of course, that would be ideal, and it's always great when you're on the pitch and everybody's willing you on. But the Celtic fans are quite right to criticise when they see the way this second half is panning out.
The supporters aren't daft. They know what they're looking at, and they know that what they're looking at is unsatisfactory. And I do appreciate, as I said at the very start of the programme, the mainstays, the Hatatis, the McGregors, the Carter Vickers, Abadas away. The mainstays have gone, and this is a makeshift Celtic. But as Gordon Dale rightly said, still must have enough to beat Livy.
Well, they have a chance here, Celtic, but Matt O'Reilly's ball is poor and it's out for a throw-in.
Yeah, again, Matt O'Reilly, he's on his right foot there, right side of the box. Maybe in weeks gone by or months gone by, really, he would have shifted that onto his left foot and taken another touch, but he's just hopeful of trying to put it in. So Celtic, there's 6 to 8 minutes gone here. There's still plenty of time. They look a bit desperate just now, not really trying to work things. Everything's, being put into the box and hoping something might happen.
Is that why, though, your defensive solidity is so important? Because not only, to state the obvious, does the score line change and you're pegged back on the score, but Celtic are now performing entirely differently to where they were, Mark. They actually were doing a lot of things right on the ball earlier. You mentioned that, getting a lot of those little triangles and one-touch stuff and getting into certain areas. But the psychological impact of the goal seems to be just as bad as the impact it's had on the scoreline.
Without doubt. And you're not seeing those forward runs from the midfielders in behind now to create space, everything. It almost looks like someone else is hoping somebody else is going to pull something out.
This is when the crowd become a problem, because they are heaping the pressure on these players, and they have to somehow keep their composure, which they didn't do there. And all of a sudden there's 20 minutes to go of regulation time and it's 2-2, and the crowd are saying, how did it come to this?
That was a good ball there into Kelly, and he just lets it run under his foot. Actually took up a good space just at the edge of the box, and those are the wee opportunities you need to be solid with. You need to get it under control.
Oh, it's another nice piece of play from Nicholas Kuhn. It's fired. It's a ferocious effort, tipped over by McGovern. It was Alistair Johnson with it. Better from Celtic.
Yeah, he's one who does understand it, Johnson. He likes to get in about it. Combative. You need combative players now. You don't need anyone to be tentative.
And corner Celtic. This is going to be swung in. It's a high looping one, lands right in front of goal.
It's going to take a lot, isn't it, for that kind of ball to be nodded in the back of the Livy net when they've got players, probably 4 or 5 players over 6 foot in the 6-yard box. You're going to need somebody to switch off or suffer a block for a Celtic player, but just hopeful again. So it certainly didn't see it being 70 minutes and tied at 2-2 with the game in the balance.
Kyogo touched it yet?
No, he's not been involved much, that's for sure.
It's another feature of Celtic season, the way that Kyogo has ceased to be the go-to guy, as you called him earlier on, Mark. He's just having a difficult time of it. Looks unhappy with himself.
Yeah, it looked sharp when he came on at Tynecastle and amongst the madness, didn't he? But not quite got going in this one yet, as Livy show a good bit of determination in the middle, and it will definitely be getting nervous there.
I think Livy are doing their job perfectly well. I think they're blocking passing lanes. They're not allowing balls played through the middle of them now. Celtic just look at this stage, this past 5-10 minutes, to have ran out a bit of imagination. I know we've seen Kuhn flick it through there for Johnson, but not seen much again from O'Reilly. Kelly's just come on. Awata, I don't think you're going to get much going forward from. Here's Kuhn.
Good tackle, Montano. Even he suddenly feels like he can take on Nicholas Kuhn. Sorry, it was actually Oblai. Sangari had come across from centre back. I was expecting that to be in that right back pocket, but Livy had covered. But here Celtic go again, curling one, palmed away by Michael McGovern. Looked less than convincing from
that.
The
looked like me at the 60s in goals when you take a stint in. Good play from Kuhn.
Wasn't the best goalkeeping. Well, to be fair, it took a deflection. Let's give the goalkeeper a little bit of credit. He's already on his way, but at the end of the day, he gets it into safe territory. As Livy making another substitution.
Another giant.
Yeah, Curtis Guthrie is coming on. He's a big laddie, as they say. Goal scorer Dan Mackay goes off.
Well, Michael McGovern, Celtic have to be taking advantage of the fact that he's just having a bad day. A bad day at the office. He looks as nervous as a kitten, and that was almost laughable, the way he dealt with that last effort there. So he's got this corner kick to deal with now.
That was like the goalies in your day. That's what I'd imagine it would be
goalies
like.
Goalies muddy, so you try to say that Packy Bonner, one of the great Celtic goalkeepers, that's the
why do you always mention Packy Bonner?
Well, you mentioned goalkeepers muddy.
Aye, that's the kind of standard I
know
expect.
What I mean?
Palming it away and then bouncing the ball 8 times before they hoof it up the pitch.
I think the thing about McGovern there, for some reason he jumped too early. I've never seen a goalie do that, and he was getting on the way back down when he then tried to palm it away.
Yeah, I think you're being a bit unfair in the goalkeeper so far.
On your day?
No, just now. I think
McGovern.
I was a bit of deflection. He get caught hopping in 1 foot, unfortunately.
You can also say I think you've invented this deflection.
It was a deflection if you look at it. Yep, 100%.
Okay.
It's good coming for someone who's putting as many drops in their eyes as possible. And your question, my side.
I just didn't think there was a deflection, but that's fine. Anyway, Celtic running out of time to get the winner here. You wonder how the cup tie psychology starts to feel with the fact that it goes to extra time today, Mark.
Well, listen, I think even with Livy, the way that they're approaching this past 15 minutes, or the remaining 15 minutes, to look like they are getting a bit deeper. I know David Martindale's made some changes. I just seen how many bodies they had in the box there. But look, if it draws to extra time, then I think if you're a Livy player, you take great credit from that, and you're feeling better about yourself than the Celtic players are.
If it goes to extra time, the crowd regard that as an embarrassment, and they give the Celtic players what for at the final whistle, and they create an even feistier atmosphere in the half hour added on. So that is what's going through the mind of the Celtic players at the moment. They look laborious. Everything is too much on the ball, and there's no evidence of a clean cut strike for anyone.
I'm surprised, and I can understand the way Livy's now starting to play. Look, they've got success being positive. It's a cup tie. They've got Celtic a little bit nervous, but they're sitting deeper and deeper, as Mark quite rightly says, and I think that draws a bit of pressure on you.
Do we sometimes act like it's a conscious decision?
I think it is.
Like everyone said this about Motherwell at Fir Park. Sometimes you just psychologically you get a bit worried. Celtic have got more of the ball, you can't get it back. It's unlikely that Davy Martindale has whistled on and said, listen everybody, get back.
No, I don't think so, but
it can just happen in a game.
Yeah, you can make certain substitutions to be a little bit tighter.
Guthrie's a striker though.
It's not like, well, he's made more than one substitution, but it's not like it's a case of Celtic are all of a sudden moving the ball about very sharp and moving you around the pitch like I think they did in the first half. I just feel that, if they can go up the pitch a little bit more and cause Celtic problems, there could be a massive shot in the cards here.
Celtic just look out of ideas now. They've still got and James Forrest comes on because he will have an idea. He will go straight to the heart of the matter, and Kuhn comes off.
Yeah, do you know what, Mark? If there's somebody that isn't guilty of much wrong today, Nicholas Kuhn. He's listened, the bar I know was set low, but He'll be happy with his. He's actually he might be clutching his hamstring as he's gone off. I don't know. He's touching something, but anyway, James Forrest's on.
Well, I would have kept him on, I've got to be honest. I would have kept Kuhn on. If I know Maeda scored a couple of goals, I would have taken Maeda off and kept Kuhn on. He looks the most creative force.
James Forrest's first action's to beat his man and stand it up at the byline. It falls, but for some reason, well, I know why, because it was sitting up on Greg Taylor's right foot. He wanted to work it across. This is real positive stuff from James Forrest. Corner.
James Forrest knows the score. He's won enough at Celtic, been long enough at Celtic to understand this is unacceptable, it's flat, and he's going to take this game by the scruff of the neck and see what he can do. 3-2 if Celtic get it. Right, bad day, but good result.
Yeah, I'd like to see Celtic just work something through the corner kick.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Riley must have had about 5 or 6 of them just put into the 18-yard box, and Livy dealt with them easily.
I watched
huge spaces in front of him.
Forrest was brilliant going down the wing there, but if he puts a ball in the box and Kyogo out jumps the defenders and heads it into the back of the net, I will be astonished.
Was this a big loss for Livy? Is Oberle struggling now?
He's limping a bit, certainly after that corner. Brendan Rodgers trying to come up with a solution here.
He's looking a bit pensive, Brendan Rodgers.
They need to keep tempo high. He always goes on about tempo. He always goes on about moving the ball quickly, not allowing the opposition. He set themselves in their shape, and I think they've been the opposite of that in this second 45. Thought they were pretty good at it in the first 45, but that's often been the case with Celtic this season. 145 minutes doesn't resemble the other 45 minutes. So sometimes we've seen them really poor in the first 45, then finish strongly, for instance for Park. Other times we've seen it reversed.
It's a dreadful pass from Liam Scales. I can imagine the reaction inside Celtic Park. Gordon, you'll be delighted. City have taken the lead. Liverpool 0, City 1. John Stones on 24 minutes.
Yeah, never in doubt. But I'm more intrigued with what's happening at Celtic Park. Are we now in the territory of just get into the next round, get into the semi-final, forget about today?
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
Because this right now could go anyway.
But the criticism's still going to come, even if you get in the next round.
It does make it slightly different, though, doesn't it? That's the beauty of cup football, because you have that one priority and one priority only. And it's certainly not the way you would have planned it, and it carries a bit of embarrassment, Hugh, if you like, but you just get it done. You just try and get it done at this stage.
We'll get calls, and you are right to open the lines early. We'll get calls from the eyewitnesses to tell us what it was like to be there today. But extra time is an embarrassment for Celtic. Twice in the lead in the game and haven't held on to it.
Well, Livy's got a forced a corner, and they've not put one quality ball from the set plays in yet. So if I was David Martindale, I'd be sitting there with my fingers crossed thinking just put something decent in and let my guys go and attack it.
The last one that they did get in, and they did attack it, and it required Joe Hart's foot to clear it off the line. So Davy Martindale, I mean, there's 10 regulation minutes to go. Davy Martindale in his own mind must think this is possible.
Of course it is. All the pressure's on Celtic. If Celtic to lose another goal here, this would be unbelievable.
Yeah, Livingston corner comes in. Celtic can't quite clear it. Joe Hart is pointing an accusatory finger. He felt a dive was taken in the box, and I think that probably was the case. Joe Hart did come out and he slid. Is it Nottingham, I think?
Nottingham saying he's got a cramp now on his calf by the looks of it, or he's pulled his calf. But again, worrying moments.
Yeah, it's a definite dive.
It was a dive, it was a dive. But again, it's in that Celtic 6-yard box. It's bouncing around. Uncertainty there. No doubt about it.
He's embarrassed with that dive. He's saying, I'm taking cramp. 100%. That's how embarrassing that dive was. I might as well just say I took cramp.
Going over to the Man City Liverpool game, the goal. Going back to Daz's theory that Celtic worked in that way with Scales, I think Man City have worked in that one. A corner kick, De Bruyne out swinging, but plays it almost along the byline, right in front of the 6-yard box for John Stones just to tap in. Everybody thought it was going to be a big looting out swinger. That's clever play. I don't think Celtic had worked in it. That's
Michael Nottingham booked for simulation by Willie Collum, so he saw it clear as day, as did Joe Hart. But we're into the last 10 minutes and it's still 2-2.
I mean, it makes no difference to us really, because we're here for the long haul this evening, and if you want to fill the gap between this game finishing and Rangers game starting by extra time, that's up to you, Celtic and Livingston. But I think in a footballing sense it will be met with quite a reaction.
Yeah, as I say, the Celtic supporters who are there will regard extra time, if it comes along, as an embarrassment. So Celtic have got 9 minutes of regulation time to get a goal.
Can you see them getting it, Hugh?
Right now,
yeah,
here's Kyogo.
Yeah, again, that just fell favourably for Kyogo, but again, forced across the box. Would we have seen him be more positive, you know, in seasons gone by? Maybe.
So I could not have foreseen an end to the game like this, but Celtic are uninspiring right now and don't seem to have an idea of how to get the third goal.
See, the problem is when you get it in the wide area is to fire it in high now. You're looking at their defenders are our favourites, because Kyogo, no disrespect, he's looking to play in the shoulder, he's looking to get across defenders.
Here's my flawless prediction.
Go.
James Forrest to score, make it 3-2
before the end of the game, before the end of the 90.
Yes.
Oh, he's gone. That's a very unlike you prediction. That okay.
Yeah.
Watch with interest. That will be a free kick to Celtic, I suspect. Chance for a cross to come into the box.
You need the old soldiers at times like this, and James Forrest, what's he been, 17 seasons at Celtic, scored in every one of those seasons. I just think that Forrest coming on just ups the ante a bit for Celtic.
This is just going to be swung in again, isn't it, from Matt O'Reilly? I don't, you know, you look at the players run the edge of the box. Could you work something a bit smarter? Is he just going to put this in and hope?
No, he does. He goes short to the edge of the box, but it's really,
he should have put it in.
It is really poor from Celtic.
No, they've worked it well.
They might get a chance at the back post, but it's not what they intended. And it's that man James Forrest. But let's look at that.
If he scores for there, Hugh.
Livingston players back, just stood up over everyone's head. Livy getting everybody back, trying to just see this one out. Livy, you think, would take extra time for sure.
All day.
Although the way they're going down with cramp and all the rest of it.
That was an ego. That was a bruised ego for the dive, I think, from Michael Nottingham. Excellent from Joel Newbley. That is what you want. Just takes the pressure off, gets Livy up the pitch, forces it all the way back. Joe Hart's going to collect.
Yep, Joe Newbley very good with the ball at his feet, but just to have the composure there in his own defensive third to knock it round Kyogo and get it the other side. Brilliant. Just alleviates some of the pressure. What he could have done was, we had a guy up front with a wee bit of pace that would have caught that. But again, it's Celtic. Scales on the ball. Centre half's now getting it 10 yards into the Livy half, and they're just trying to probe. But you've got to say, Livy have filled the gaps well, making it really difficult.
Here he comes.
He's looked sharp since he come on, Hugh.
Good running from James Forrest.
He's looked decent since he come on, James Forrest. Here you go, Hugh. There's your moment in time.
Yeah, it's a tame effort from James Forrest, and it goes wide of the far post.
He's just building up.
Yeah, I think your bet's gone. Well, 5 minutes plus added on. If you're Livy now, you're thinking, okay, we'll take the extra 30 minutes, we'll take our chances. If you're Celtic, you're really hoping this third goal comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Because Brendan Rodgers knows he'll get it in the neck. If the final whistle blows and it's 2-2, he'll get it in the neck along with all the players, because the fans will just say this is unacceptable. This is consistent with a season that has not gone well at all.
Yeah, and we're not being, too hard, because Livingston, they've had a terrible season and nobody expected this, but well done to them so far. As the ball comes in there, yeah, good defending at the back post. So yeah, I've got to say well done to Dave Martindale so far, because I thought that Celtic would have cruised through to the next round.
Celtic into the box, fired across, goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's a hat-trick for Dalziel Maeda. He's the one that started it off early on, and he might be the one that finishes it off late on. It's a good move from Celtic, fired across the face, and Maeda arrives at the back post with the tap-in to make it Celtic 3, Livingston 2.
End of the big picture. Look like Livy have it in them, but will there be a check? on Maeda.
Yeah, there will be.
Was he offside?
Well, always.
Well, once again,
That's
the full back's terrible. Would you still take him off?
Nottingham's still surprised that Maeda came on inside him because that must have been the fourth. He's looking over his right shoulder, and by that time Maeda's already over his left shoulder. Maeda's in at the back post to tap it in.
Is there a check? Are we having the usual delay? And this will be a nervous wait for Celtic fans if that is the case.
Really tight
when the cross comes in.
Yeah.
They're checking it. Possible offside on Dalziel and Maeda. Maybe Celtic haven't taken the lead. Maybe we are destined for extra time. Willie Collum awaits on word from Clydesdale House. Goal stands. Celtic 3, Livingston 2. As you were.
Well, sorry, Hugh.
No, I think that surely finishes it for David Martindale and the Livy players. And David Martindale casts his eye upwards and just thinks, we're nearly there.
I think he'll be looking at his right back position. That's 3 times. Well done to Maeda. Terrific hat-trick for him. But Mark will tell you, as a full back, if you get caught once, try not to get caught twice, but 3 times, and it's the same. He's just been ball watching. Maeda too quick.
Just wonder the kind of profile of Michael Nottingham, though. Are you almost accepting that a bit of that's going to... Michael Nottingham's not a kind of smaller, nippier fullback that's even got a remote chance of keeping up with Dalziel and Maeda.
But I think in those tight areas you don't need to. You just need to be aware where the danger is. And the danger is over your left shoulder. So when Nottingham's looking for Maeda over his right, Maeda had already made his movement, so his body position's all wrong. Because if he's on the half turn, it's the simplest thing. On the half turn you see where Maeda is. He has no clue where he is, and that's for the first goal as well. So it's been a poor afternoon for Nottingham, booked as well for diving. But Maeda, who I said actually 10 minutes ago I would have taken him off and kept Kuhn on, but he's taking full advantage of playing against Nottingham.
Well, 4-2, if Celtic were to get a fourth, it would flatter them slightly, I think. But the Livy players look all out on their feet.
Yeah, psychologically as well, Gordon. If you go to Celtic Park and score twice and you're level at that stage, you're expecting to at least take the game a bit further. So, yeah, but I guess it's the cup tie nature of it. They can maybe muster something else, one last bit of energy.
Yeah, 100%. And even when the camera goes on to the Livingston manager, you see him puffing his cheeks if they say, well, that's their chance gone, and probably it is. But all credit to Celtic, they kept chapping at the door and eventually got what you would call the winner. And it's all about cup football. I know the Celtic fans will not be happy with the performance, but they're in the semi-final.
Yeah, they tried the free kick there to work it to Greg Taylor and shoot from the edge of the box, but it wasn't great. And we're seeing Dalziel and Maeda onside. Yeah, the full-back's got to do better. And I totally take your points on board about, he's not that sort of a smallish, quickie guy around with his quick feet, but it's just about positioning. You've got to be better positioned for that. I'm sure David Martindale will tell him that as well.
Oh, he will be told.
Oh yeah, without doubt he'll be told
in no ambiguous language. I think it'll be a very clear message delivered to Michael Nottingham before the end of this one. Just maybe there's time for Livy to spring the final shock. I'm not sure many people had them going to Celtic Park and scoring 3 times, but they have got 2, and they will look maybe get another 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, depends how many added on. We are at the end of the 90, so we'll get news of that any second now.
Well, they're giving it a go, last throw of the dice and all that, but if Celtic lost a third goal,
5 added at Celtic Park, so that's Livy's task now. They know it's a cup tie, they can give it everything, try and snatch it away and take it to extra time. For Celtic, what do? Do they try and keep the ball? Do they try and move Livingston around?
I think we've got to try and get a 4th goal, try and put something of a gloss finish on it, for what's been a difficult afternoon. But that comes to grief, and it's a bye kick. I think Maeda's kicked the ball about 4 times and he's got a hat-trick.
That is Maeda all over the back there.
And one of them's
great
a header,
first touch. He squares up the defender, goes by him, and then it's hard to kick the ball as straight as he did there when you try to cross it with your left foot, straight out of the pitch into the stand. But comes away with a match ball. Yeah, you're right. It's weird. Now, but if you're Livy, you've got plenty of height up there, you've got 4 minutes remaining. It has got to be route one stuff. Just get the guys up there, play it up to them, hope a second ball falls to you. That's if you can get the ball back off Celtic.
That's the difficult bit, getting the ball again.
They also look exhausted, the Livy players.
Yeah, for Celtic, probably just keep possession. If you're playing against an opposition like that, Hugh, that are exhausted, then gaps open up. There's another gap. My head again off the bar. Same ball across the face. And I don't think it's not Nottingham this time it gets done.
How did that stay out? That is incredible how that stayed out.
I'll tell you what, there's about 3 minutes left. Of course we'll interrupt if we get any late drama, but it's a strange scheduling for us on a Sunday, and the Rangers team news from Easter Road is out, as is the Hibs team. So let's get news of that with Andrew Maclean, who is there for us.
Yeah, 2 changes for Nick Montgomery. Miller and Venta drop out. Triantis and Cadden come into the starting lineup. It'll be a change of shape as well. Looks as if they'll play a back 5 in this one. David Marshall in goal. The back 3 will Fish, Rocky Bashiri and Nectar Triantis. The wing backs Chris Cadden and Jordan Obita. In central midfield, Nathan Mariah Welsh, Joe Newell and Emiliano Marcondes, Mayazine Malida and Martin Boyle. The strike force, the substitutes: Wallacott, Hanlon, Levitt, Ewan, Mayenda, Stevenson, Lafondra, Jair and Whittaker. As for Rangers, unchanged from that 2-2 draw against Benfica midweek. Not often Philip Clement does that. Jack Butland in goal for them. The back 4, James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Suter and Ridvan Yilmaz. John Lundstrom and Mohamed Diamandi, the 2 holding midfielders. Dujon Sterling and Fabio Silva out wide. Tom Lawrence, the number 10, in behind Cyril Dessers. So substitutes for them: McCrory, Matondo, Roof, Davies, Balogun, Barisic, Raskin, McCausland and McKinnon.
Very interesting. No changes to that Rangers team. What do you make of that? You can send us a tweet and let us know. A couple of changes for Hibs. Looking forward to that, and we will give it the full build up very soon in the closing stages at Celtic Park. Just another good chance for Celtic to wrap it up.
Well, Kelly gets inside the box. They've got numbers over. He decides to go and shoot into near post area and puts it wide. So they're just trying to pick Livy off, but Livy need to get bodies forward. This will be the last roll of the dice.
And it's
doesn't come to much in the end. A slight heart and mouth moment, but Joe Hart collects.
Yeah, you see the tactic though. Going direct, straight up top to Guthrie, flicked on. And Bruce Anderson almost on the end of that there.
It's a scruffy win, but as Gordon Dale said earlier, you just want off the park and in the draw for tomorrow night. But it's not exactly an uplifting day for Celtic.
No, it's not been the best, but it could have been worse. As you quite rightly said, Hugh, they're in the draw. They can sit back and see how Rangers Hibs go, and then obviously Morton and Hearts on Monday, and then see who they get in the semi-final at Hampden.
Kyogo lets fly, caught it, but it goes over the bar, and probably the last attack of the game. Livy will try and rush, I'm sure, but entirely convinced there's any time to do anything.
Well, Kyogo, very few touches, but at least he did the right idea in mind.
I wonder how Brendan Rodgers will analyse this.
Here we go.
Kyogo comes through.
Yeah,
finish it off.
Celtic with the chance to finish it all the time in the world. Kyogo, and he does.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
That will be that, unless there's another check, and in fact there is. I think the flag was up already. Celtic 3-2 remains. That 4th goal doesn't stand for now. They'll then check it in the opposite order this time. I'm looking at that trailing leg of the last defender and wonder if this might stand. But again, we'll let our Hawkeye friends tell us what the outcome of that one is. So on all the previous goals, the goal has stood and then been checked. This one's been ruled out in the initial instance. We'll do the check the other way to see if it should have stood. Will he call him once again? He's had good use out of his communication line to Clydesdale House this afternoon. It's all gone fairly straightforward, though. It's all been matters of offside, nothing too controversial.
It's a good finish, I've got to say. I know that it's very, very tight indeed. Good run, may just have went too quick, but once he gets into that position, it's a real good finish.
Yeah, you're right about the trailing leg. Kelly's leg, is it right leg?
Yeah,
just behind him.
That's certainly the last point of the defender. Whether it's in front of Kyogo or not, we'd have to wait and see.
Well, big moment this. If it's ruled out, Livy have got a free kick and the opportunity, put this right into the Celtic box.
Offside?
No, not yet. You hold your horses. Goal, I think. I think the goal stands. Yes, it does. I had a feeling Celtic 4, Livingston 2, and that will be that for the second time.
And it's a victory for Celtic and Japan, because it's 3 for Maeda, 1 for Kyogo. I think 4-2 slightly flatters Celtic. They've made hard work of the game all day long, but the only positive you can take is they're in the draw for the semi-finals.
Yeah, he's timed it perfect, I've got to say. That's what he's all about, playing on that shoulder, causing problems. You give him space in behind, he'll go in there, and it was a composed, cool finish for me.
Finished.
Full time, Celtic Park. Here's Gabriel.
Full time, and it is Celtic 4, Livingston 2. The scoreline might look bigger than it was. Celtic scraping through to the Scottish Cup semi-final thanks to a Dyson Maeda hat-trick. It was not easy for the defending champions today, pegged back twice by a spirited Livingston display. Kyogo Furuhashi sealing the win with the 4th goal with the final kick of the game. Maeda's first came just in the 7th minute. Great ball in from Nicholas Kuhn and fantastic movement from the Japanese striker. A touch and finish past Michael McGovern. 1-0 Celtic, but just 5 minutes later the game was level. A knock into the channel from Christian Montano, acres of space for the pacey Dan Mackay. Stephen Welsh couldn't get across to him. Mackay took his time and expertly smashed the ball high into the net. Maeda's second came in the form of a headed rebound after McGovern parried a Matt O'Reilly shot. The keeper got a hand to Maeda's effort. He could and should have kept it out, but the ball trickled in to give the Hoops the lead at the interval. And after a good attacking first 45 minutes, you were expecting Celtic to come out and take the game to Livy, try and take the game out of their reach. They were very uninspiring, allowing the visitors to grow. And it was Tete Yengi, Livingston's striker, with a great equaliser. It was poor from Matt O'Reilly on the halfway. He tracked back with the tall forward, but he allowed him to turn in the box. Yengi rifled the ball into the far corner, a cracking goal. And a massive Joe Hart save was required just 2 minutes later. It looked like it could be Livingston's day, especially after Maeda missed a golden chance through his legs and Alistair Johnson saw a top corner effort tipped over by McGovern. But in the 86th minute, Maeda made it 3, nipping in at the back post to score his 3rd of the game and his 27th goal on his 100th appearance for the club. He then fired one against the bar in stoppage time, and substitute Kyogo Furuhashi sealed the deal. He broke through, was clear 1-on-1 and just calmly slotted it inside the far post. So thanks to Maeda and Kyogo, Celtic just about survive a scare here, and they join Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup semi-final. The question is now, who will join them? Full time, Celtic 4, Livingston 2.
Well, what did you make of that, Celtic fans? If you were at the game, you could call us right now. We do, of course, have a second game to follow, but that's the beauty of a Sunday. There's a bit more flexibility. Why not give us a call right now? Are you just happy to be in the hat? Is that what it was all about today, or was it a bit too close for comfort? 01419511025. That's the number you need, and we'll build up to Hibs against Rangers as well.
The experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Looking to sell your Volvo? Contact them today for a no obligation quotation.